traveling.
Leave me alone.
A lot of people who felons, they ask me, man, how was you a convicted felon and you was able to purchase a firearm? Let me explain.
He's committing fraud. He's telling people to commit fraud against the federal government. He has no problem filming his crimes. He's a dumbass.
Black's law, common law, real law, Black's law, common law, real law. You're gonna break my window. She is not in commerce.
Can you state your name and badge number for the record?
Well, you're trying to steal my vehicle.
What we are witnessing is World War II.
Whatever he's gonna say is gonna be terrible advice, probably, and there's a decent chance he's gonna ruin someone's life with this.
Tell Marcel Basset that he can suck a dick.
Is there a problem, officer? I'm traveling.
I'm not telling you where I'm going. I'm not answering any questions. I do not consent to any searches or seizures. Leave me alone. What we are witnessing is World War II, but way more.
World War II?
Way more.
World War II?
Way more. What we are witnessing is World War II. It's not like I have to convince rocket scientists. Most of you are pretty stupid.
Because I don't just educate in law. I like big, thick boys.
I'm just telling you, copper.
I like big, thick boys.
I'm just telling you, copper.
Because I don't just educate in law. I like big, thick boys.
There's nothing down my pants, boys and girls.
Is there a problem, officer?
Cause I ain't fucking driving.
I'm traveling.
You're trying to extort money from me.
Cause I ain't fucking driving.
I'm traveling.
Leave me alone.
A lot of people who felons, they ask me, man, how was you a convicted felon and you was able to purchase a firearm? Let me explain.
He's committing fraud. He's telling people to commit fraud against the federal government. He has no problem filming his crimes. He's a dumbass.
Black's law, common law, real law, Black's law, common law, real law. You're gonna break my window. She is not in commerce.
Can you state your name and badge number for the record?
Well, you're trying to steal my vehicle.
What we are witnessing is World War II.
Whatever he's gonna say is gonna be terrible advice, probably, and there's a decent chance he's gonna ruin someone's life with this.
Tell Marcel Basset that he can suck a dick.
Is there a problem, officer? I'm traveling.
I'm not telling you where I'm going. I'm not answering any questions. I do not consent to any searches or seizures. Leave me alone. What we are witnessing is World War II, but way more.
World War II?
Way more.
World War II?
Way more. What we are witnessing is World War II. It's not like I have to convince rocket scientists. Most of you are pretty stupid.
Because I don't just educate in law. I like big, thick boys.
I'm just telling you, copper.
I like big, thick boys.
I'm just telling you, copper.
Because I don't just educate in law. I like big, thick boys.
There's nothing down my pants, boys and girls.
Is there a problem, officer?
Cause I ain't fucking driving.
I'm traveling.
You're trying to extort money from me.
Cause I ain't fucking driving.
I'm traveling.
Leave me alone.
A lot of people who felons, they ask me, man, how was you a convicted felon and you was able to purchase a firearm? Let me explain.
He's committing fraud. He's telling people to commit fraud against the federal government. He has no problem filming his crimes. He's a dumbass.
Black's law, common law, real law, Black's law, common law, real law. You're gonna break my window. She is not in commerce.
Can you state your name and badge number for the record?
Well, you're trying to steal my vehicle.
What we are witnessing is World War II.
Whatever he's gonna say is gonna be terrible advice, probably, and there's a decent chance he's gonna ruin someone's life with this.
Tell Marcel Basset that he can suck a dick.
Is there a problem, officer? I'm traveling.
I'm not telling you where I'm going. I'm not answering any questions. I do not consent to any searches or seizures. Leave me alone.
What we are witnessing is World War II, but way more.
World War II?
Way more.
World War II?
Way more. What we are witnessing is World War II. It's not like I have to. Most of you are pretty stupid.
Because I don't just educate in law. I like big, thick boys.
I'm just telling you, copper.
I like big, thick boys.
I'm just telling you, copper.
Because I don't just educate in law. I like big, thick boys.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Sovereign Citizen Watch. How you doing? I'm Hannah. Welcome, Raiders. I need to pause that music because it has lyrics. How's everyone doing? Welcome to another Sovereign Citizen Watch, Raiders. I am Hannah Reloaded. I cover all sorts of interesting conspiratorial topics. I am a skeptic myself. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I do like the topic. On Tinfoil Tuesday days, we cover all sorts of conspiracy theories. Today on Sovereign Citizens, however, we take a look at a particular kind of conspiracy theorist who believes that laws don't apply to them. And I don't mean just, like, ones that super suck and, like, aren't just. I mean, like, they don't think they should have to have driver's licenses. They don't think they should have to take driver's tests and get insurance for their cars. Anyway, so there's a certain individual that we cover, Chilie de Castro. He's been sent to jail after grifting, in my opinion, and he has had some calls from jail. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of those today. He's also doing multiple GoFundMes, because of course he is. He has already raised $30,000 for his GoFundMes. This one has $18,530, and this one has $12,868. So his audience is certainly paying him well for his time in prison. So with that all out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at Chilie's calls from jail, that we might better understand his struggle.
All you trolls out there who hate Chilie, I don't care. Guess what? Innocent guys in jail. Do you want to be that innocent guy in jail? No.
I don't think Chilie's innocent. I think that's the first thing. So this gentleman here is who has been running Chilie's channel for him while he's been in jail. So he runs all the administrative side of things now. He's doing uploading and taking care of basically making sure these calls make it to Chilie's channel.
No, then listen up, okay?
Hats
we got
off.
the legal aid
Phoenix, what do you want me to wear for the hats off?
funds, defense fund for Chilie right here. While we're listening to the video, I'm going to put this in the chat box and I'm going to pin it to the top. If you want to help Chilie, I appreciate it. There's a couple ways we can do it. We can do it by helping him monetarily, and we can help him by binge watching his YouTube videos. I would suggest starting with the most popular, because those are the most entertaining and the most informative, and we can keep his channel going while he's in prison.
That's very much not true, by the way. Often if you go to the most popular videos from a particular creator's channel, that doesn't mean those are the best ones. The algorithm is just a strange mistress. I'm looking for the flower crown. There she is! MH Dark Beast, thanks for 46 months, says, howdy Hannah, 46 months in a row. Wow, we need to celebrate with the sparkling water. And then there's a link. Hot dog water. Does it actually taste like hot dogs? Flavors: lemon, lime, green apple, sweet orange, hot dog. There is a hot dog flavor. All right. fuck it. If I happen to be in a 7-Eleven sometime soon and I see the hot dog water, I'll get some and drink it on stream. That seems like the kind of thing I'm supposed to do, right? Gross things to entertain internet denizens. Oh. I feel like in Chilie's head, these are his version of, like, Martin Luther King Jr.'s letters from jail. I feel like that's what it is in his head. GamerG with 11 months says, Happy Chilie jail call day. I truly thought he was gonna hurt someone someday when he started talking about if the cops told you I hurt someone, they're lying. I'm loving the sweet justice for the alleged grifters. It is nice, isn't it? Bumble Homestead with 200 bits kicks off a hype train. Thank you very much. If you're watching on YouTube, do me a favor and give the stream a like. Thank you. Vegas ain't Birmingham. Nope.
If this was what
Starry Beauty, thanks for 100 bits.
you would want done to you if you were in prison, then
Did we ever get a shout out for Tina for that? I don't think we did. Could we get maybe a shout out for Tina 2? Go check out Tina 2's channel for the raid earlier before I was on screen. Sorry, I almost forgot about that.
maybe we should do this to him. Okay, so let me get my, oh yeah. I got to bring this up right here.
I should also point out for any raiders, lest they get the wrong impression, I'm very in favor of, like, hey, the police are fucked up, aren't they? And they mistreat people. I'm not a chud. I'm not here, like, going to bat for the police. Far from it. Our justice system is fucked up. The police are fucked up. Chilie is a grifter, though, in my opinion. Chilie is a grifter that looks at real problems with policing and then says, how can I make this about me? And then he just gets in everyone's faces and wastes everyone's time and makes issues of often racial justice about him, which they're not. So that's why it's like this. DM Trey, thanks for gifting a sub. Unstable Deadbeat, thanks for gifting a sub. Much appreciated, getting us over level 1 of the hype train. Ooh, and Anonymous, thanks for gifting a sub.
Okay, so we're going to listen to this in its...
Is anyone else having issues with my audio? Does it sound weird? Do I need to, like, readjust my mic? I might need to unplug and replug it or something. I don't know if anyone else is having that.
entirety. As long as this is good, we're going to be good. I'm going to...
Sounds fine for people on Twitch? Okay.
Play it in its entirety, and then I'll come back and talk with you. This is Chilie. He recorded this on Sunday.
Oh, there have been a ton of the bridge conspiracy theories, but I'll cover them next Tuesday. Or Friday, whenever I do tinfoil next.
Night for you guys, so he could let you know what's going through his mind and what's happening in jail.
Hey, Jamie Lynn.
And maybe try to empathize with him and put yourself in his shoes. Is this the situation you would want to be in? Let's go.
Okay. So before we get into the Chilie actual call, which is happening here in a second, I want to be clear. I understand that being in jail sucks. Do I want to be in jail? No, it's not a good time. It's not a fun time. It's boring and empty and cold and fucking, I'm sure it's a nightmare. I'm sure it's not fun. Chilie, the problem with it is that he is acting like his, so far, 3 to 5 day stay in the county jail is equivalent to some sort of human rights disaster. He's acting like he's a POW in Vietnam. It's kind of fucked, if I'm being honest. But anyway, let's get into it. One more Dwink. Thanks for gifting 10 tier 1 subs. Thank you very much. That's incredibly generous. Jamie Lynn, thanks for gifting a sub. Royal Ann with a $2 super chat says, we am happy the computer made it. This is, I was waiting for Royal Ann to show up. Chat, I got a package from Royal Ann to my P.O. box. I haven't brought it upstairs yet. It's still downstairs. Sent me a whole ass computer. A fucking computer. I can't believe that you sent this. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I don't know what these numbers mean, but it says computer info, 570x megabytes, 3900x CPU, 2 1 terabyte M.2 drives, 16 gigabytes of RAM, 5700 graphics. Those are things that I don't know, but those are the numbers for the computer. So thank you very much. Yeah, that's crazy. This computer is getting old, so I really, really do appreciate it. And I'll have to put in the graphics card and stuff. So thank you very much. That was so generous, seriously. Let's see. Gamer G says he spent a couple days in county lockup. If you think about it, he's literally just like Nelson Mandela. The Chile de Castro effect is the new Mandela effect. Fun fact. I thought Chile passed away in prison. Seriously though, Royland, that's incredible. And I will be talking about this more once I actually like plug it in and stuff and can, you know. But thank you. Oh, and all the little pictures I saw, very cute. There's the little like drawn instructions how to like put the graphics card in. Absolutely fucking adorable. Thank you. Alright. Chile's phone call. Oh, one more thing, actually, since I'm here, too. I got a birthday card from Speedo Spank, so thank you very much for that. And it came with Garbage Pail Kids cards. What's this one? Hacky Hannah and, Handy Hannah. So those are cute. But yeah, I can't believe Royal Ann sent me a goddamn computer. It's incredible. Alright. For realsies, Chile de Castro.
Accept this free call. Press 1 to refuse this free call. Thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
To Team DLZ, today is Sunday, March 24th, 2024. This is officially my 5th day in jail. I want to explain to you how this place works a little bit. So when I was intaked from the courtroom into the jail, they put me in the torture cuffs, and the bailiff, who I had called a pig,
He calls handcuffs torture cuffs.
The torture cuffs on nice and tight.
It's almost like my community likes me or something. You know, I have crippling, what would I even call this? Low self-esteem, so it still shocks me.
And you look at the room that's dark oak and...
Oh, you can tell. Chile's a failed actor. I should point out he was cast in Power Rangers and then promptly fired. So you can tell throughout this he's putting on this kind of voice, like the voice when you're pretending to be sick as a kid to stay home from school and your parents call to see how you're doing. And then, you know, you're watching like The Price is Right or something, you know, give a shit, and they call and you're like, oh, yeah, I'm doing real bad. Tea Time Tea says, oh my god, he sounds like he's recording a voice journal entry for a Fallout dungeon that slowly gets worse and worse.
Black.
The De Castro horror.
And there's black robes.
30 seconds on the hype train.
And deep red overtones in the room. And ironically, just less than 40 feet away, there's a door that leads to the dungeon. And when they open the door, it's all white with a stripe that goes around.
Sounds like Hannah speaking from experience. Oh yeah, I was like a good kid for the most part in school and got decent grades. And then like the last 2 years of high school, I was just so over shit. So I just stopped giving a fuck. And stuff was easy for me as a kid, like tests and stuff. I was always a good test taker. I'm good at, frankly, I'm good at bullshitting. I'm good at bullshitting and I'm good at intuiting answers based on multiple choice or based on the wording of the question. Also, public school is just super fucking easy. So, anyway, I did fine. So, in the last 2 years of high school, I just started slacking off and, like, calling in and shit when I wasn't supposed to. I did fine. I graduated, like, and got decent enough grades. It was fine. And obviously it worked out. Overthought says, can't wait for his forthcoming memoir, Letters from a Nevada Dungeon.
And the room's 12 feet by 8 feet deep, and they put you in there in the torture cuffs, and they shut the door. You look around, and there's nothing there but you. And then, maybe a minute later, the two bailiffs came in, and immediately began to pat me down briskly, as though they were giving me a terrible massage.
As though they were giving me some kind of terrible massage. This is the best he can do at trying to make it sound like a human rights violation. It's like some kind of terrible massage. Anonymous, thanks for gifting us a...
From my ankles up to the top of my hair, their hands are coursing over my body, and they're feeling every single inch of my pants, my suit jacket. They begin to crumple it.
This just feels like Wattpad fiction I've read.
Pull on it and twist it because I'm already in the torture cuffs and they're tight. And I tell them, please, the torture cuffs are tight.
Oh, they were feeling their rough, manly hands all over my body, and oh, the torture cuffs they had on me were just so tight.
We don't have to like each
Why does it read like this?
other, but you don't have to torture me. And he says, you'll be out of them in a minute. And then he says, I'm going to bring your lawyer in. They leave as quickly as they came in, and then the lawyer comes in, and Michael Mee, his face is red, and he's disoriented, and I look at him, and I actually say to him, are you okay? He says, I'm okay. And
What Wattpad fix am I reading? Don't worry about it.
Look at him,
My
and I
personal
say,
reading
what
material
happens
is my own.
now? How do we get me out of here? And he said, I'll file an appeal with the district court. And then I said, how long, Michael?
Oh, I understand what he's trying to do. It's just ineffective.
It'll take 2 weeks. So I'm going through shock, and at the same time, then the two bailiffs come in and say, what do you want us to do with your phones? And I said, I don't know. And then I said, just give them to my lawyer. So my lawyer takes my phones, and then they take me down a corridor that no one has access to. The walls still have, like, the house being built where there's still paste and covering of the nails with the stucco, and they take me down the hallway, and then I'm in the dungeon. And as soon as I enter into the dungeon, it's this, there's, hundreds of people there, and there's half of them or more are people in these shackles. They're in chains. They got a chain around their waist, torture cuffs on each wrist, and
Yeah, they're talking about the restraints that they have when they're moving prisoners generally from one block to another. You've seen it in movies and TV and stuff. They're on sort of a chain gang.
the shackles are...
It's because you have fewer guards than you do prisoners. That way they can't overpower the guards.
Attached to the chain, and then they walk me through and they say, let's switch him up. So then they bring me over and they take the torture cuffs off. They say, take off your jacket. I take off my jacket, and then they say, all right, take off your shoes. I take off my shoes, one shoe, one sock, and then they take a flashlight and they look at my feet and they roll my pant leg up, and then they take me from there, and now they say, take off your overshirt and just wear your overshirt. Get rid of your white t-shirt because it's going to be cold. And so then I take off both shirts, and then I put the button on, the white button up. My suit pants are fairly new, so my shirt's brand new. And so then I'm just wearing orange, like water shoes, and then I'm wearing my slacks and my button-up white dress shirt. And then they take me over to medical, and they take my blood pressure, and my blood pressure is 170 over 110. And
Can they poll who wants to go to Chile jail? I don't even know what that means.
She says, well, do you have high blood pressure? And I say, I used to. I took care of it. I said, isn't that pretty high? And she said, it's not so high, understanding the circumstances. And then I say, understanding the circumstances. She says, yeah, in the situation...
No, this isn't AI. This is Chile calling from jail.
...that you're in now, it's expected your blood pressure is going to be a little high. And I said, but isn't that really high? She said, you'll be okay. And then...
I know that that's high, chat. Like, how do I put this? I'm trying to both balance the recognition that our justice system is fucked up and that it does actually mistreat people, while also recognizing that Chile is a known liar and grifter. So if this actually happened, yeah, fucked up. But on the other hand, we've seen Chile lie constantly, forever, for his grift, and that's when he's on camera. This is literally just a story he's telling. I don't believe him. I just don't believe him.
They take me from there in shackles, and they sit me down on a bench, and then they shackle me into a chair, and then I have to sit in this chair, and then I look over to the other people, and I say, hey, was your blood pressure high?
Wow, Jersey Bob, I really appreciate that super chat. Please, you guys, give your support to Chile, okay? This right here is a fundraiser for Chile. That $50, Jersey Bob, I'll make sure that Chile
oh my god, just keeps the fucking audio.
Message for
Chile again, like I said, he's raised like $30,000 so far. For an appeals lawyer, his sentence is 6 months. He would already be done with the sentence before appeals even got anywhere. Not to mention, I don't think the appeal would go anywhere because I think he's guilty.
Your message. Gonna get back.
And they said yes. And then I asked multiple people, and they say yes. And then I go into a holding cell, and I'm in this holding cell. I get in there maybe around 3 or 4 o'clock, and I'm in this holding tank until 4 o'clock in the morning. You can lay down, but it's freezing cold. And so then I'm in the holding cell for 12, 15 hours, I don't know how long. And then they say you're transferred upstairs, and I go upstairs, and now this is a room. It's a big room, like a big auditorium room. There's stainless steel tables in the middle with stainless steel stools that go around them, and there's probably 4 of them, and there's 6 or 8 stools at each table. So there's maybe 50 people considered these 4 tables, and around the room are doors. I don't know where those doors lead. So now at this point I have to take off all my clothes, drop them into a bag, and then walk into the shower area. And I go into the shower, and the guard tells me, go in there and shower, drop all your clothes outside, put them in a bag. And so I do that. We don't put them in bags until I go in the shower. And then they come around, they take the bag, so you're buck naked in the shower. And then I take
You are normally naked in the shower.
a shower, and then the guard comes around, he says, all right, open your mouth. I open my mouth. He says, all right, turn around, spread your butt cheeks, go out and cough. I don't. I just turned around, tapped the butt sides of my butt cheeks, and and the guard was about 70, and he's like, good enough.
It's so tyrannical that he can choose not to do certain things, and they're like, whatever.
Out, they give me a pair of these. I'm wearing the exact same clothes that I put on Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. Then this is called isolation for 24 to 48 hours. It's rooms of 1 or 2 people. For me, it's going to be 2.
DM Traces is a local, I can assure you, it's been averaging 65 at night for weeks. In fairness, Chile gets cold really easily. I don't know why, but there was a time he was in Michigan, and he was like freezing, and he was talking about how fucking cold it was, and he was like, it's freezing, chat, and then I looked up where he was that day, and it was like 60 there, which like for Michigan isn't like bad. It's not warm, but it's like not, I just think he's used to a warmer climate, so like even middling temperatures are very cold to him.
And so I go to this, he says your name, DeCastro, inmate number. I now have it memorized, 1669561.
Prisoner 1669561.
And then I go.
Your time's not up. Your humiliation's begun.
So, and he says, you and you go to room number 37. I'm walking to the room, and the guy next to me passes me. And I guess he's in a hurry to get to the room. We walk into the room. He goes to the 2 bunks. He grabs the 2 mattresses, looks at them, picks the mattress he wants, puts it on the bottom bunk, and then throws the other one on the upper bunk. Then takes the sheets we got and the blanket, quickly makes himself a bed, gets in the bed, and puts the covers over his head. It was kind of like a surreal moment. I was like,
lower than 70's a bit of a chill. I'm from Michigan. For me, like the 50's is nice.
All right. So then I said,
his overall thing here seems to be jail sucks. And I don't disagree with that. Jail does suck. Jail sucks. Yes. What of it, Chile?
Hey man, I'm Chile. Nice to meet you. He said, Nick. I said, man, this is hell. And he said, not as bad as war. I said, all right. And then he continued to stay under the covers. Then
not as bad as war. Is everyone here weird?
Put my sheets on my 1-inch thick mattress, and then I lay down up there, and you're in this room that's 5.5 feet, 6 feet wide by 8 feet deep. 2 of us, and there's a metal stainless steel shitter there, and on the back of the shitter is a drinking fountain, and that's the water you're going to have to drink. I'm there for maybe 2 minutes, and the door comes and opens. The guy says, DeCastro, you're not in this cell. And then I'm taken out of that cell, and I'm put in room 23, and I remember thinking it was Michael Jordan's number. One of the largest investors in prisons in America is Michael Jordan. So I go into number 23.
Random gift sub. Oh God, what am I doing, I guess? Welcome, I guess. Whoever you are.
There's nobody there but me. So I take both
Stick around. Why not?
mattresses. I put them
Maybe fate's trying to tell you something.
on the lower bunk because the
This
windows.
could be the most important day of your life. Could also just be nothing. So, do with that information what you will.
On the upper bunk, and that's where the sun comes in. But this particular room doesn't face the sun; it faces another building. So I'm grateful for that. So I take 2 mattresses, I lay them down, and I lay down and I try to sleep, but I can't. So I start to do stretches. I'm doing stretches and counts of 30. I do.
Oh, he talks all about in this How he keeps doing exercises like he's in fucking Old Boy, like he's gonna train and come out and get revenge.
Every single kind of stretch I can do. I'm pacing back and forth. I stretch. I do 200, 300 push-ups. I do handstand push-ups. I do burpees. I do mountain climbers. Doing anything I can to get the time to pass.
Just imagining Chilie. You guys know I can't picture things, but in text in my head, imagining Chilie like squatting in a prison cell just hyping himself up.
Just dripping by so slow. And so then I go over to the mirror and I begin a set of positive affirmations.
He's gonna get so many new clients for his scam legal services.
It's hard to tell you guys, but it's true. And I'm coming apart, you know. I've been in this room alone for 10 or 11 hours now and no stimulation. They bring food to the door, drop it off, close the door. No stimulation. It's called lockdown, so you're stuck in this room. So the food is atrocious. I had been doing Ramadan up until that day.
Does he just do Ramadan for fun? Chilie is not Muslim, from my understanding. Did he convert at some point? Did I miss the Chilie conversion arc?
Blown it one day in LA, but I was trying to get back on track, and I was back on track.
Does he just do it like for funsies?
I was doing well.
It's fine if he does. I'm just confused.
I had breakfast before the day started on Tuesday, so this was now, I don't know. I've lost track of time. Maybe Thursday morning, and so I now go over to the window and I'm to the mirror and I'm giving myself positive affirmation. You're okay. You can get through this. You're okay. You can get through this. You're a good person. You haven't broken the law. You haven't done anything wrong. This is going to be hard, but you can.
Now I'm nitpicking. You did break the law. You did. You were convicted. You're here.
Get through it, and it's just so hard because you have no other...
He's lost track of time in less than a week. Less than a day. He's still narrating the first day he was there. He's narrating the first 24 hours.
Stimulation. So then at about 15, 16, maybe 17 hours, I don't know how long, I've done sets and sets of stretches, counting to 30 sets and sets. And I'm just I'm more flexible now than before I went in, but I'm just trying to get through it. And then at that point, they bring in a group of guys. You can see them all sitting at those tables I talked about initially. And there's maybe a dozen men there, and I look over the dozen men.
I just want to get to the point where he talks about the crackling and popping. You're going to love that part, chat. I know all of you.
And there was a black guy who I'd been in holding with named Roy, and I literally said a prayer to God. Please, dear God, give me Roy. Please give me Roy in this cell. If there's anybody...
Tate also exercised and became Muslim in jail. Is the halal option like better food? Are they claiming to convert in prison for better food options? Just like genuine question. Chilie sucks, so I can see it.
Because there was another guy in there who was about 22, 23 who came in the holding cell, and he was just so loud. I tell you what, I got 5 kids. We send them to school at 5 o'clock in the morning, every morning. And this guy's talking as though he's on a pedestal giving a speech to people in a holding cell.
Can you imagine someone who talks like that, Chilie? That must be insufferable.
15 feet by 10 feet wide. It's horrible. And so I'm praying that I get Roy, and you know what happens? I get Roy in my room. Roy is a guy, he's 56 years old. He's been arrested on a 25-year-old warrant for attempted auto theft from 25 years ago in 1999 when he had a relationship with a woman that went sour, and then when they were breaking up, she called her car.
Yes, he was doing a stereotypical racist voice.
And stolen. And then he left town and never came back. Her car was in her driveway when he left, but since she called it in stolen, he then had to...
I like that Chilie just unabashedly believes anything he's told from the other people in jail as to why they're in jail. As if no one in jail lies about why they're in jail. Like, that's so common it's a trope. It's a trope that it's like a punchline borderline that no one in prison says they're guilty. Again, I'm not saying there's no innocent people in jail. There are. That fucking is disgusting, but like... He just believed this guy immediately, like, yeah, you're also in here for stupid reasons.
Had to face a felony warrant. Now, here in the state of Nevada, they do what's called a DNA test. So he had a mandatory DNA test because he was charged with a felony. Well, the mandatory DNA test makes it so that you have to be held for at least 3 days so they can get the DNA test through the lab. But remember, there's three
Video,
industries
please.
in Nevada. There's mining, there's casinos, and there's prisons. Mining is the least successful. Casinos is number one. The number two industry in Nevada is prisons and jails. So the DNA test that they put through the state legislature here in Nevada means that they can hold you for 3 days, meaning that each jail, prison that holds you for 3 days can bill the state for 3 days, at least of DNA testing. So that's why Roy is being held, really. He's being held because it's going to be a financial boom for the jail or prison industry.
That doesn't really make sense, though, because it's costing them money to get the DNA tests done, and holding him costs money. I get it. For-profit prisons are a thing, but I don't think they're making money off of an extra 3 days they're holding people and forcing a DNA test. That doesn't really make sense.
If the cops charge you with a felony here in Nevada, it's a mandatory DNA test. Now, remember, I don't have a computer in front of me. I'm just going by memory. So Roy is in my cell now, and I've been in the cell alone for 16, 17, 18 hours. I don't know how long. I can't keep track of time. There's no clock. Roy gets in my cell, and I immediately begin to chatter to him like a school kid on a playground. I talk for 10 minutes straight. Finally, I say to him,
it's so funny to me that he was just talking about how annoying the other guy was for not shutting up and not wanting to be his roommate, and then as soon as he gets this roommate, he starts doing the thing and talking his ear off without giving him a chance to respond.
Roy, look at me. Nobody will look you in the eye. None of the jailers will look at you. You're treated like
Oh, this is a long call. It goes on. It goes on for another, like, 20 minutes.
Are cattle with a $sign on your back. It's not that the guards are...
And he's done it, like, every day. This is just the first call. He's doing one right now, too. Live.
Cruel. They're indifferent. They don't care. They don't give a damn. You have to follow a system, and they are flowing you through, and this is the money for the state of Nevada. And if you, in any way, shape, or form, get in the way of that money, they will deal with you under the 1980 case of Johnson versus Glick.
Chilie, you literally got in the middle of a traffic stop. That's why you're here. You don't need to be doing speeches. Just fucking stop.
Guards are to maintain order, and they can use reasonable force, objective reasonable force, to maintain that order. Now here in this particular jail, they have banned the chokehold and they've banned the chair, that torture chair that we see in so many videos. So now Roy is in there, and I finally tell him after 10 minutes of me talking, I say, Roy, please.
Prisons that make money are 3 luxury white-collar prisons that are used as an incentive to confess for federal financial shit.
At me. And he finally looks at me.
He's talking about if you've ever seen, like, in a prison movie or TV show, like, if you get strapped to, like, a chair where you're, like, totally strapped in, head to toes, you are, like, strapped in so you can't move or do anything. In theory, at least, it's for prisoners that are, like, freaking out, and you need to move them from place to place. I think Harley Quinn was in one of the deleted scenes of Suicide Squad.
And I say, man, connect with me, bro. Talk to me for a minute. And in that moment, it's the first human moment I've had in over 24 hours. And I immediately break down and tell him, I shouldn't be in here, Roy. And then he says, neither should I, man. And he's an only child. He's a black man, and he's a strong person. And he says to me, Chilie, you need to be strong and you need to hold it together. I said, I'm gonna hold it together, but for the love of God, man, we need human connection. If we don't have human connection, we are going to fail in here. And
again, Roy is in here for 3 days. Why is Chilie talking like they have like a 30-year prison sentence and they're forming some sort of Shawshank Redemption-esque bond? Neither of you are in here long enough for this you're not getting institutionalized. You're fine.
For the first time, Roy says to me, I know it. He says, damn it, I know it. And then he starts to talk, but he hadn't said a word.
Oh, those chairs are fucked up. I'm glad they're getting banned in places. Those chairs are fucked.
He just was all locked up inside. And then for the next maybe 30 minutes, we have this really human conversation.
Yeah, NorCal Cop Watch just made a really good point in the chat. He says Chilie was attacked and arrested for filming the police. Chilie was convicted because the judge ruled on her feelings and not the law. And clearly, Chilie obeyed both directives to not only step back, but he obeyed the directive to stop talking to the driver. And yet Judge Ann Zimmerman still threw him in a cage for 180 days after he had victimized nobody. Let that sink in, guys. I
Let that sink in.
see all you trolls out there going, let Chilie rot in hell forever. I hope he gets another 180 days. I hope he gets abused by inmates. It's just, you know, crazy.
That shit's fucked up. I don't like that. No one has made a joke here like that, which is great. I have an audience that I've cultivated that isn't like that, luckily.
To me,
I hate that shit, though, when people are like, good, you're in prison. I hope XYZ happens to you. No, don't do this. Don't do that.
To think that somebody...
Cult of Cautious Optimism with 20 months says, isn't jail prison Chilie's worst nightmare due to lack of agency? Yeah, you would think.
could actually commit no crime, hurt no one, threaten no one, steal no one's property, and still people are going to call for your head, you know, off with his head.
Not his head, but he has 6 months in jail for his getting in the way of that thing. He has another trial coming up for the same thing because he keeps doing it.
We don't like him. We don't like the way, you know, I understand people not liking people. I don't like how he does things. I don't like what he says to the police. I don't like how he handles himself. His lawyers suck. This is all horrible. All that aside, do you think a human being should be locked in a cage for what Chilie did? If you do, because guys,
I think that's a general prison reform issue. Like, there should probably be more, like, how I would feel about it is a buildup of more social-based services, that if people are, like, caught in more misdemeanor crimes, those crimes are more dealt with in a social services way to figure out, like, oh, were you doing petty theft? Why? Usually if people are doing petty theft, or theft in general, they need something. They're either stealing it because they need the thing or stealing it for money because they're desperate. I don't know. But either way, it's not the system we have right now, and Chilie is aware of the rules, at least he should be, so if he could stop trying to get a bunch of attention on the internet and make money grifting, maybe he'd end up in jail less.
This is a direct assault against the First Amendment. He didn't go to jail because he had a camera in his hand.
Correct.
He didn't go to jail for any other reason than he interfered with the... How do you interfere with a cop when you're standing 10, 13 feet away from him?
By doing what Chilie did, yelling at him and involving himself and talking with the driver.
How do you resist arrest when no lawful order was given and
a lawful order was given?
Man who was attacked...
That's why he's in jail.
By the guy in the uniform didn't do anything wrong. I just need you to answer those questions for me.
Conversation, and for the first time, I feel the lifeblood of humanity come back into my veins. I wipe my tears, and I go back to the mirror, and I do.
And for people going, this is weak. Oh man, he's so weak. He's being a coward. He's being a...
No, he's just lying for drama.
Wimp. This is pathetic. This is humanity, man. This is humanity. If you don't experience fear, if you're not scared, if at times you don't like question, oh my God, what's going on here? What's going to happen in my life here? Then you're not a human being. And I can't sit here and say that you're being honest with yourself. I would hate to
Chilie's lawyer was not good.
Like this.
I don't even disagree with that.
On lockdown.
Like, there wasn't much to do because, like, I think Chilie was guilty, but I don't think he was a very good lawyer either.
Forced to be in my bed, my bunk, for 20 to 22 hours a day. Well, he deserves it. Look how he treated that law enforcement agent inside that courtroom. Look how he treated Officer Bork. Look at the disdain that he had for Ann Zimmerman. He deserves it. Really, he deserves to be in jail because he had...
Why isn't he out on bond? He was found guilty. This is post-trial.
He had disdain for a black-robed tyrant and a tyrant in a uniform in a courtroom.
Black-robed tyrant.
Another set of positive affirmation. I tell Roy, you should do it too. So now this is really incredible what I'm going to tell you right now. So for 30 minutes Roy and I have the most human conversation you could possibly imagine. We talk about everything from our childhood to where we were raised to why we're in this dungeon and what the next process is going to be for us as we go through this. And so now there's only one toilet in there.
Oh, here it comes! Here it comes! I love Rice Krispies. It's time for the crackling and popping.
And there's a sink on the back of it. The water tastes like rusted pipes. It's horrible. And the toilet is stainless steel shitter is on the bottom of it. And when you drink the fountain water, it drains down into the toilet. Roy's a big flusher. He likes everything to be flushed. And so
as opposed to... What I'm getting from the story there is that Chilie doesn't flush when he's peeing. The story that I get from that sentence is Chilie doesn't flush the toilet when he pees. Flush the toilet.
the toilet. Roy's a big flusher. He likes everything to be flushed. And so, you know, he has to spit, and so he's spitting. He has high blood pressure. His blood pressure is reading 190 over 120. He should be hospitalized, but he's not. And so we're in this room together, and now...
It's incredible that everyone at this jail has high blood pressure.
We have to
Every single person.
have a conversation that no two men should ever have to have.
Chilie was supposed to meet his lawyer at the office originally to go over strategy, but he didn't. Genius.
And I say to Roy, I say to him, hey, listen, do you have to use the bathroom? And he says, actually, I do. I need to use the restroom soon. And so then we're at the bottom of the pit of despair, where neither one of us should actually be in jail at all whatsoever. Roy doesn't have a real criminal record, and I don't have any criminal record. They looked me up here, all the guards have, and I don't have a criminal record.
That's literally just a lie. That's literally just a lie.
Besides being before 21 years old. I'm 49
How long is his sentence? 6 months.
now. So I say to Roy, listen, if you have to use the restroom, just let me know, and I will plug my ears, and I'll turn away. And he said, and I'll flush right away as if I have to use the restroom. And then we say, you know, I say to him,
Yeah, and that's also a good point. PJC Net says...
I think he's been in jail before, yes.
It would have been suspended if he'd behaved in court. And, you know, quite possibly, it would have gone different if he did behave in court.
Yeah, he probably shouldn't have argued with the judge and called people pigs in the courtroom. Like, it's the courtroom. Decorum is a thing. I get it. You don't have to like the people there, but you have to behave.
Possibly. But, you know, people are always saying, well, look, if you comply, nothing's going to happen to you. Well, tell Daniel Shaver that. He tried to comply with every single command from Mesa police officer.
He really didn't, though. This guy's just lying for Chilie, so I'm going to skip back to the Chilie parts, because fuck this guy. Oh, there it was.
Of what he makes goes up Chilie's nose. Prove that. You know, accusation without substantiation is the height of ignorance, and you are showing yourself a real fool when you make a statement that you can't support.
He's mad people are implying Chilie snorts cocaine.
So go ahead.
Or some other amphetamine.
Support your statements. If you can't, you're a fool.
sorry to tell you this, but it's just a simple fact. When you go to the bathroom and you have to go poop, no other man should have to listen to another man crackle and pop as they take a shit in a toilet.
I've never heard worse usage of onomatopoeia in my entire fucking life. Has he never been to a public bathroom before? Because people shit around other human beings all the time, and it's not a human rights violation. Whew, oh boy, 11 months! Holy moly, 11 months, this stream baby is way overdue. How could you do this to me? This stream baby's name is Giant Overdue Baby. Giant Overdue Baby. It's 11 feet tall. H-Bird says, if he's complaining this much after a day, just imagine how obnoxious he must be while camping, right?
Nobody should have to listen to another man crackle and pop as they take a shit.
I did not go back, by the way. He just repeats it a lot.
And we both laugh for the first time that we've been in there. We both laugh and say that is the most honest thing I've ever heard. And I say it's a pet peeve of mine when I go into these restaurant stalls in the bathroom, and they don't play music in the bathroom. You have to go to the bathroom, but there is a sound to going poop. And he says, yeah, there's a sound to going poop. There is.
The brilliant conversations taking place in this jail cell astound me. There's a sound when you go poop. There is a sound when you go poop. How would you describe that as an onomatopoeia? Crackle and pop, obviously. What the fuck?
As gross as it may be, unfortunately, when you're put into a situation like we are, you have no choice but to talk about the most human of function, the despair of explaining to another person that they shouldn't have to hear you go to the bathroom.
It's shitting! It's shitting! Just shit! It's fine! It's not fun, but it's not like, oh my god, fine! Vest Demon with 200 bits says plump.
And that's what we have
Peter, poop comes out of my butthole.
to talk about. And so then it's maybe 20 minutes after that. I don't know, because there's no way to keep track of time. You're looking out the window for people who are coming in, but if you look out that window too long, a little tiny window, 4 inches wide by maybe 24 inches tall, and the guards do not, there's a button there that you can push a light, and if you push that light, don't push the light. Unless it's a medical emergency, you don't push that light.
It's clearly a light meant for medical emergencies, but Chilie keeps pressing it because he's Chilie and he's annoying, and he thinks he's like, they keep telling me not to push it unless it's a medical emergency. Then stop pushing it, Chilie. What? It's like he's confused and mad. They keep telling him that. Like, the button is clearly for that, Chilie, so stop misusing the button. Do I know of any Sovsits that after getting convicted and serving time actually stopped doing their thing? Must be world-shattering for them. I'm not aware. It probably exists, but I haven't seen them.
Because there's only one guard out there, and it's a great, big, huge auditorium with those 50 seats I told you about. But we're on 24 to 48-hour lockdown as we're processed in, and I'm literally losing my mind inside of this room. And so Roy says to
me, take a nap.
Okay, Chilie, I have to go to the bathroom. And so at that point, I get on the lower...
He literally goes on to explain that he does have, like, a book, I think. He's reading, like, a Dan Brown book. Like, I understand that having to be in one room for, like, some period of time sucks. I'm not saying that would be fun. It would not be fun. It wouldn't be. I know. But they're not torturing you. You're not in solitary confinement. You're literally just in an administrative hold while they get ready to book you into the system. It's fine. H-Baird says he's probably got a massively high anxiety level due to his lack of freedom, and that's probably making absolutely everything bother him. Probably.
Bunk. I plug both my ears, and I start to hum with my ears plugged, because I really don't want to hear another man.
Dan Brown. Did I say Darren Brown? Dan Brown. The Da Vinci Code guy. Darren Brown's the hypnotist magician guy.
And go to the bathroom, and then I hear the slosh of the toilet. It's like a tornado. It's like a hurricane inside of a stainless steel can. And then
he's obsessed with this toilet.
I hear a moment later, and then I'm still humming, and then I hear Roy say, "Hey man, you can stop humming now." And so I unplug my ears and I turn around, and he's gone to the bathroom in maybe a minute, maybe 1 minute. Now every man over 40 years old knows that when you go to the bathroom as a man, you sit down on the toilet. Sometimes it's even better than sex to sit down on the toilet when you're over 40 years old, to let your bowels relax, and you can...
Chilie must have terrible, terrible sex. Or I'm shitting wrong. One sec, Mr. Blast, I think, sent a photo of the... yes. The bootleg Deems device is complete! Thank you, Mr. Blast. That's excellent.
Sit there and take a shit. And I hate to be so crude, but this is the actual process of the dungeon.
I hate to be crude. So here's me talking about shitting for 20 minutes.
And you need to hear it. You need to hear that there's no decency, that every bit of pride is stripped from you, that you are broken down to the most disgusting level that you could possibly even imagine, where you have to talk to another man about how you're going to go to the bathroom in front of him. And so he goes, he gets up, and then he says to me, let me know if you have to go. And I say, I've been limiting my food intake. I've been eating very tiny portions, and then I've been working off the food. So I have
eating tiny portions and then doing squats. I'll never have to shit. 6 months, no shitting. I gotta work it all out. Dillis Filler says, this is the worst Shawshank Redemption fan fiction ever.
haven't had to go to the bathroom. So now, after that, maybe, I don't know how many minutes, hours, I don't know. But then the guard comes out to the middle of the auditorium and starts to speak. And he says, listen to me. Everybody come to the glass. And so Roy and I go to the glass, and he says, do not push...
If he doesn't want to shit, he should do the all-beef diet. True. Is he on a shit strike? It's like the opposite of, oh, fuck. Attica?
the light on the door.
Did they do a food strike, an eating strike at Attica?
If you push the light on the door and it's not a medical emergency, I'm going to come in there and get you out of there and lock you down. You understand? You think this lockdown's bad? It's not going to be a tenth of what we're going to go through if you push that light on that button, on that door, and it is not a medical emergency. Now, I'm going to serve food. When I come to the door, you are back by your bunks. We will drop the food off by the door. You can come to the door and grab it after we are gone. Do you understand? Knock on the door. So we knock. It wasn't a knock. It was something else. I don't think he said that. I don't think he said knock. I think my brain's just filling in holes. But I don't think he said knock. I think he just said, do you understand? And that was it. He didn't want any communication back from us. My brain is just, I'm trying to remember everything detail by detail, but it's all the days and nights are run together. I was arrested on Tuesday afternoon. I think today's Sunday, 24th, and I finally last night slept for the first time 6 hours straight. Before that, it was an hour here, 2 hours there, an hour here, 2 hours there. So then a little bit of time passes, and then they say, then they call names. They call my name to Castro. And so then I go out, and we all go down to the table.
Oh, I agree about the light thing. That's such a Chilie thing to do, is he keeps pushing the button because it's any sort of, like, ludic interaction with the world. Which I know sounds weird. Ludic is normally used to denote interaction or play, but that's intentional. Like, you can think of life as a set of ludic interactions you have with things in your immediate vicinity, your ability to leave that vicinity and go elsewhere, who you interact with. That's all been cut off from him. All of his agency has been cut off, so you put him in a room with nothing but a toilet, a guy, and a button you're only supposed to press if there's a medical emergency. He's going to want to push that button, because he wants to literally interact with anything. He wants to feel agency. It's incredible.
You're moving cells. You're going over to this holding cell instead of the one you're in with Roy, 23. So I grab my blanket, I grab the mat I was using, and I grab my pillow, and I bring everything over to the other bunk, to the other holding tank that's the same, 5.5 feet by 8 feet. Now, when I do that, I have 2 mats. Okay, here it goes. Now, the guard says you guys have 15 minutes to use the phones, and then we're leaving here. And so then he goes, everybody back, lock down, get on the tables now. And he goes to Castro. He goes, you have 2 mattresses in that bunk over there. I said, you told me to grab everything and bring it over there. He said, not the mattress. Everybody will
I didn't move that over enough. That was gross. Sorry.
Over there.
I had something stuck in my teeth, and I tried to move the thing to... I'm making it worse by bringing attention to it. Fuck it.
Says, no running. So then I'm just double stepping up the stairs. I grab the mat. I get it back. The entire room is grumbling my name and mad at me. So then I get over to the phones and I look at the guys and I say, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Don't let them divide and conquer. and the guys in the row all immediately agree that they're not going to let them divide and conquer. But then this is the last holding tank before the next step is I'm there for maybe 20 or 30 minutes. I don't know because you can't keep track of time. And then they say, let's go.
Keep saying this.
Population. So then they take me out of there, and then I walk back outside, and there's me and maybe 6 other guys. And then that group of 6 connects to another group of 6 that connects to another group of 6. And now they're walking us down corridor after corridor after corridor. You have to walk along the line of the outside of the wall, keep your head down, walk along the wall, don't look at me.
Put a 1 in the room if you've spent...
He's literally just describing, again, walking from one place to another, being changed to others in jail.
more than a day in jail, more than 24 hours in a jail. Put a 1 in the room.
Look down, and I'm walking down the line. Then they put us in an elevator. Everybody has to walk to the back of the elevator and look at the back of the elevator. If there's someone in front of you, you look at the back of their head, and then you look slightly down. So I get in the elevator, and then they take it up to the next floor. I don't know which floor because there's maybe 10 or 12 floors here. I don't know how many floors are in this building. And then they take me up to a I don't know, just another cell. And so then I get in, and I'm in 2, actually in the...
Man, look at all the 1s in the room. Those 1s are all the people, if you're being honest, who've spent more than a day in jail. That is a lot of people. That's a lot of people. And when you went to jail, were you guilty of committing a crime, or were you innocent?
Letter 2 and then N. 2 and like Nancy, where I'm at right now. But before that, I was in 2 M or 2O, right next to this cell. So then I come into 2M, and when I get in there, now I'm 3 days so far, 3 days I think, and I'm wearing the same clothes. I stink. I've been doing hundreds and hundreds of push-ups, trying to keep my mind from wandering and counting them. So that I've done Wim Hof. I'm not sure if Wim Hof daily breathing exercise. It's 11 minutes. If you don't do it, I do it pretty frequently, and so I do Wim Hof several times during this process.
Sounds familiar. Why does the Wim Hof method sound familiar to me?
I can smell myself. So finally, when I get into 2N,
turning a fan on.
2M, I'm sorry, I think I'm in 2N now. And so then when I go in there, now I'm able to take a shower, but I have to put on the same clothes and the same underwear.
Cold showers, basically?
I've actually washed my underwear twice because I've had the same pair of boxers for 5 days. Apparently,
you've been wearing the same underwear for 5 days? Really seals in the flavor, huh? Overthought says, Chilie can get out after 4 months if he has good behavior, a true test of his ethics. Does he follow the orders of people he's fighting, or does he not adjust to being under constant control? No way he gets out. There's no way he gets out in 4 months.
Apparently they're having a laundry problem here at the facility.
Oh, he's the ice bath guy.
I don't know when. They said
I remember him.
Maybe next week.
I may have heard that Behind the Bastards episode.
New clothes. I think today's Sunday. So
might be where I know the Wim Hof method
Monday.
from.
I'm hoping that's what happens. And so then I go into 2M, and when I get in there, it's a group of guys, and they're all about 25 to 35. I'm 49, so I'm in pretty good shape, and so then we go out to the rec room, which is maybe 20 feet wide by 60 feet long, and it's just a concrete slab with a dip machine and a pull-up machine that are the same machine.
Why is he just narrating what jail is like? We know Chilie. We've seen jails.
Pull-ups on one side, dips on the other. And so then I work out with these guys who are young. These guys are doing sets of 20, 25 pull-ups. I'm managing like 8, 10. I'm struggling because I haven't been doing a lot of pull-ups, and I'm absolutely starving. I've had very little food. A lot of the food is simply not edible. It's just...
You literally said you were eating little food so you didn't shit.
A couple people have put a little money on my commissary, and I'm so grateful you did it, because I can buy some chili and I can buy some beans from the commissary, but I can only order once a week. So I had a friend. This is a complicated story. I don't think I have any more time to tell the next story, but I just want you guys to know that
But too much time talking about how much I hate shit.
and I'm gonna be all right. And
Yeah, there you go. Put a 2 in the room if you want to be a part of the Judge Ann Zimmerman fan club.
we have the most badass appeals attorney ever. I haven't been able to talk to him. I've called him 3 days in a row, and I've left him voicemails. And I have powerful people who are writing letters of recommendation.
Tea with Goblins with 100 bits says, "Good morning, Hannah and Stanas. May your flower crowns be vibrant, your gender euphoric, and your face be warmed by the burning embers of a transphobe's house."
For me. So if you're an attorney or if you're an officer at the court, you can write a letter of recommendation vouching for me that I've had hundreds of police encounters, and I've always preached nonviolence, always preached never to fight or shoot or attack police, ever. So this judge was just completely out of her mind. And
yeah, it's the judge,
and like
for
I
sure.
said, I took responsibility already and said I didn't do the best at court. So I don't belong in here. And do I think that some people need to live in a box? Yeah, they're extraordinarily violent, they're criminally insane, and they need to live in a box. But I would 95% of the people in this room, maybe 100% of these people, they need to go to a mandatory education. Every 30 minutes should be an educational seminar that you learn on a computer, where you're doing basic math, basic English structure, or Spanish structure. Because when you learn English, Spanish, math, Russian, science, those things change the way the neurons in the brain work.
He's trying so hard to, like, talk about prison reform, but he has no solid ideas, so the best he can come up with is mandatory generic classes, which, by the way, a lot of prisons already do have classes and GED programs, and even some have college classes available. Like, this is already a thing. Does he not know that?
Show me the education of a man, and I'll show you his character. Well,
in fairness, this is going to vary a lot between federal and state, you know, prison systems, but, like, these programs do exist.
These characters are based that they're completely uneducated. A lot of these guys can't do basic algebra, and so they don't realize that what they're doing is going to have heavy consequences. They're going to be locked down.
I like the implication that you don't know the consequences of your actions unless you know algebra.
And so that's what this should be safe for, and this shouldn't be like this. You should have to go to 30 minutes of education every 30 minutes, and then the other 30 minutes you should be in a regular facility where there's a toilet with toilet paper. That's another part. The bathroom and the toilet paper and the way it works.
How about a bidet? Would prisons save money if they switched to bidets? They'd probably use less toilet paper.
Can't give it justice. On the
bidets are incredible. Would recommend.
phone. I'm going to have to write it in the book. But the way that it's, like I said, I already gave you the gory details about the conversation Roy and I had, and it's just, this is just not how you should treat another human being. Nobody here is learning a lesson. This is funding for the state and funding for the apparatus of the...
Again, does Chile think that prisons... Broadly speaking, the prison system costs money, right? There are for-profit prison companies, but the state pays for those, right? The state doesn't make money on that. The private companies do. That doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Criminal injustice industry, and it's just so terrible. Nobody's learning anything here, and the books are novels. Dan Brown's, whatever it's called, I'm on the last 30 pages or 40 pages, and then I'm going to read Atlas Shrugged next. So.
Oh, he's going to read Atlas Shrugged. He thinks he's the main guy in Atlas Shrugged. He's going to go create his own De Castro Gulch.
It's just, you're not learning anything. They're not creating new neurons in their brain, learning consequences because they learn basic algebra equation. Where's the computer screens where you learn basic math and basic English structure? Because those things actually teach you how to learn consequences. Where are the history lessons? Where are the riddles and rhymes that you can solve right there in your own little cubicle, where you have to learn and you have to pass this? And if you can't
get out of prison until you learn to solve these riddles. If you solve these riddles 3 into society, you will be free. I agree with that. I think our justice system should be more based on fey trickery. I think that would probably work. It couldn't be worse than our current system, right?
Then a virtual teacher comes on and says, "How are you? Why are you struggling, Chile? What's going on with you?" I can't figure out why. If E equals MC squared, why can't I get this into quadratic formula?
If E equals MC squared, why can't I get this into quadratic formula? Good question, Chili. What a very rational question.
And then all of a sudden, my brain is working, and I'm starting to engage in thinking. And that's what makes people less criminal, when they can problem solve their way out of situations instead of doing.
I was about to rob a bank, you see, with my Tommy gun, and then I remembered. And then I remembered that there's a special relativity, and I thought, I shouldn't murder these people over their money. That's not right. Cloud Wizard says, I'm a math teacher, can confirm. Knowing the quadratic formula teaches you right from wrong. H-Bird says, Atlas Shrugged is awesome. Where else will you see a squad of CEO commandos, including a Danish pirate married to a movie star who robs ships of gold so he can give rich people's income taxes back to them in gold bars? Profane Priestess says, I'm Chile de Castro, and I'm here to ask you a question. Is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow? No, says the man in Washington. It belongs to the poor. No, says the man in the Vatican. It belongs to God. No, says the man in Moscow. It belongs to everyone. I rejected those answers. Instead, I chose something different. I chose the impossible. I chose Chile de Castro land.
Doing criminal activity. And that's what needs to change. Now, there's people who are freaking criminally insane that want to beat their wife senseless till they're almost dead, that want to rob the store and put a gun to their face.
Hey, Chili, remember that time your ex-girlfriend got a restraining order successfully against you because she claimed you came to her house and threatened to murder her and her new boyfriend multiple times and wouldn't leave? Oh, you don't remember that? Cool.
And let me tell you something, the guy
He with Goblin says, remember, kids, it's Pythagoras' theorem, not Pythagoras. Hashtag the more you know. Boon, doon, doon, doon. Fennikagami says, all I can think is, at least Chili has a cellmate. I was thrown in a holding cell at the barracks for I don't know how long by myself, and the isolation was messing with me so bad that it was actually a relief when a cop came to verbally abuse me. When I was moved to a holding cell at the detention center for processing the presence of other people in the cell was so comforting in comparison that I took a nap. Seriously, he has no idea how bad this can get. Cloud Wizard says, I've noticed that there are two commonalities between reformed convicts, religion and the Pythagorean theorem. Dillis Filler says, Fey trickery is what Sovsits think the law is already. May I have your name? No, Your Honor, it's mine and you can't have it.
Told me the truth. Guy looked at me and said, I was a criminal, dude. I was shooting up cocaine and then going into liquor stores and robbing them, putting a gun to their head, pistol whipping people. And that guy did almost 20 years in prison in New York. And now he's in here on a card dealing thing. And I said to him, I said, I'm not going to say his name right now, but
I think the guy we're hearing in the background that's like responding to Chili a little bit is his assistant, if you're asking about that.
I said to him, hey, I said, why are you doing this? And he said, I haven't been in prison in 10 years. I'm 50 years old. I went to prison in my 20s and 30s. I got out and never did any of that smack again. And I was just doing a petty card game. And he got arrested for a felony. And it's a hustle what he's doing. He told me straight up, Chili, I'm a con man. I have a stick. It's called a stick. It's called 3-card Monty. And he showed me, I bought him a deck of cards from my commissary and gave it to him because he's so talented.
So this guy, really good-natured con man, stealing money from people, I bought him a pack of cards to help grift the other prisoners. Listen to Chili. He claims like, oh, I'm really worried about if there's a victim or not. But clearly in this case, he doesn't give a shit. The guy you're talking about would have victims if he's stealing money from people through grifting 3-card Monty. Now, don't get me wrong. If you were in New York and you fall for 3-card Monty guy, you're a fucking idiot, and maybe you deserve it. But, like, it's still illegal to grift people. Come on. Chili has so much respect for the grifter guy. Jesse Courteous, thank you for gifting 5 memberships on YouTube. Thank you very much.
Talented with cards. And then here's the thing: if you get arrested and get a felony, then you can't work in the casinos. And this guy's hands are just, you should see what he can do.
He shouldn't work in casinos. Probably he is currently stealing from people.
Of course, he can't do it, because if he does anything like that, he's going to go to prison. So I don't think he's going to ever get better. There's ways to fix people if you give them enough education. And there's people who need to be taught careers. They can sit in here and learn plumbing on the new artificial intelligence 3D programming.
The new artificial intelligence 3D programming. It's just buzzwording.
Teach people how to do plumbing and how to put pieces together.
Juggle.
Simply
Okay.
by going through a virtual system with artificial intelligence that teaches them how to do plumbing. And then after they're in here for 3 months, they get out and they go work as an apprentice. There's people who learn here who could do heavy labor, who can do construction work. They could learn how to do concrete. They could learn how to do finishing. They could learn how to do HVAC.
HVAC.
They could learn how to do it here with virtual terminals using AI that shows them how the components work together while they're learning basic math, English, history, science. And then their brains are working again, and they're sober in here because you can't get...
Kind of fucked up that he's assuming that everyone in jail's a dumbass, also. Just want to put that out there.
drugs in here the way you can't...
Like, I get it. There is a correlation between, like, education level and crime. I get it. But, like, the way he's talking about it isn't great either.
On the street. So a lot of these people who are in here, half of them, because of drugs, no longer are going to be on drugs. One guy told me earlier, look, I'm a heroin addict. I take Suboxone, and the Suboxone is the same as heroin. It's just a legal form of it. And if I don't get my shot of Suboxone every week, then I go crazy.
Like, education didn't help Chilie stay out of jail.
Because I know once I break the law...
Why should anyone listen to Chilie? He's in jail right now.
He just told me that. So there could be a better system created if we focused it more on rehabilitating and educating people than...
Chilie, you're not wrong. The thing is, it has nothing to do with what you are in jail for. This is a complete red herring. You're wasting everyone's goddamn time.
Punishing them. When we get locked down in our bunks, we're being punished. You will sit in your bunk for hours on end, and that's what you will do. The really weird part is that most of the guards in here already know who I am, and I've had to...
Delusions of grandeur. Those guards do not know who you are, Chilie. You're not that popular.
I don't block trolls, Metal Mama. I understand people doing that. I just I read what they say, and I kind of wonder. Well, I'll finish this. There's only like 2 more minutes left.
At least that would make me laugh, H-Baird.
I'll finish this.
Decent conversations with these guys. I'm not going to go into too much detail about the guards or any details here with any of them on the phone, because my life depends on not causing any kind of confrontation between myself and the guards, you know, and I'm not confrontational at all. I've already read Dan Brown's book called Digital Fortress, I believe it's called, or something like that, about the NSA. I think he wrote it in 2000, the year before 9/11.
Oh God, is he reading Dan Brown books and thinks they're real life?
And the book itself, when I read the book, it talks about how the NSA needs to have backdoors and secrets into our computers.
You have 1 minute left.
Dan Brown never pushes back and says, "Wait a minute." He seems to have the slant that the NSA should have a backdoor into computers for our safety. So it's my first Dan Brown novel. I'm not real impressed with him not pushing back on that. Anyway, that's the update.
You would not be the first person to not be impressed by Dan Brown.
For today. So I love you guys, and I'll check back in tomorrow. Hopefully Brian from Here's the Deal can cover this, and you guys can comment and stuff. And thank you, Brian, for helping, and God bless you guys for helping me. I appreciate it. I have a GoFundMe. If you guys can donate to that, that would be fantastic. I love.
So his GoFundMes are up to refresh. This one is at $18,610. This one is at $13,378. Gamer G, what do you want me to look up for the Black's Law Dictionary request before we get on to his second call? Because, yep, there's more calls. Sorry. They're shorter, though.
Team DLZ, how are you? This is Chilie. Today is March 26th, Tuesday, 2024. My message from the dungeon. So, the thing here in the Park County Detention Center. The big deal is
Lying, deception, or perjury? Okay.
lockdown. When they
Hydrate.
lock you down, that means you guys have known from the messages I left previously that you're locked down to your bed. You have to stay on your bed. You can stand up, but not for very long. You can stand up to stretch, but that's about it. So what happened what happened today was that they wake you up at 3 o'clock in the morning for breakfast, which is flop. And so then you go back to bed at 3:30, 4 o'clock at the latest. If breakfast comes from anywhere at 3 and 3:30. And then at 4 o'clock, you go back to sleep, and then at 6 o'clock, they come around and they grab people who are going to go to court that day. They walk around and they pick people up for court. Now, there's 70 guys in here, and nobody signed up to be here. So I'm going to explain what I mean by that in a minute. So apparently today at 6 a.m., when they were shackling up people as though they were Charlie Manson to take them to court, in the hallway between this room
Charlie Manson
and the courtroom, apparently when a civilian walked by, a female civilian, the inmate in this particular room didn't turn and face the wall. He was told to turn and face the wall, and apparently he didn't. So nobody knew that.
Perjury
Nobody
in criminal...
It wasn't in this room. Nobody signed up.
Sorry. Perjury. In criminal law, the willful assertions as to a matter of fact, opinion, belief, or knowledge made by a witness in a judicial proceeding as part of his evidence, either upon oath or in any form allowed by the law, to be substituted for an oath, whether such evidence is given in open court or in an affidavit, or otherwise such assertion being material to its issue or point of inquiry, and known to such witness to be false, a false statement knowingly made in a proceeding in a court of competent jurisdiction, or concerning a matter wherein an affiant is required by law to be sworn as to some matter material to the issue, point, or question. So lying, officially.
To be here.
Anonymous, thanks for gifting us up.
And so what they did just a few minutes ago is the sergeant came in. They call him the sergeant, or whoever the sergeant is. And what happened was a few minutes ago, the sergeant came in, and everybody's just laying in bed where no one's doing anything. It's really, the first rule in here is to mind your own business. That's the first rule. Mind your own business. Literally, everybody will tell you what the first rule is. If there's a water bottle sitting on a table that's not yours, mind your own business.
I mean, that's not different from normal life, right? Like, if I see a water bottle sitting somewhere and it's not mine, that's just normal procedure in real life, too.
That's the rule in here. So, now...
Does Chilie steal random water bottles normally in the real world?
That being said, you know what rule number 1 is. Okay, so just now, that's roughly, I don't know what time it is, 2 o'clock, whatever time it is. The sergeant came in, and there's several levels of hierarchy within the prison guard rankings. And so the sergeant came in and started saying, hey, listen, there's a guy in the hallway going to court today, and he didn't turn around when a civilian walked by, and he looked at her. Apparently we're all rapists now as well. We are all some sort of women predators, because if you look at a woman, then obviously you're a predator, of course. But here's where it really gets twisted, okay? Nobody signed up to be here. Nobody signed up to be in the military. We're not here to serve our country. We are all individuals, and your first rule is mind your own business. So the sergeant just came in here. It's just 1:30 right now, and he comes in and he goes, that guy did not turn and face the wall. When you are going to court and you're in the hallway and a civilian walks by, especially a woman, you will turn and face the wall. And I want you to understand something. I'm here Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and every other Wednesday, and we are the crew that you don't want to mess with. So let me just tell you guys this right now. If I have to come back into this particular barrack again, and any one person has not followed the rules, I'm going to destroy this place. Meaning, you're going to go to your bunk, tear your bunk apart, go through all your books, take anything you have as far as commissary, like Kool-Aid or noodles or beans with no chili with no beans, whatever they may do, and they're just going to toss it all over the place. Because you have a little bit of organizational structure, but he says, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to toss this place. Do you guys understand that? If one person in this barrack gets out of line, I'm going to come in here with the whole crew and we're going to destroy this place. Literally, those are his words. So now, in the military, that would work. That would work. Because we all signed up to be there. Everybody in the barrack.
Chilie, like, to be clear, I don't think that behavior's okay, but I find it odd that his response is, we didn't sign up for the military. No, you're in jail involuntarily. Like, everyone knows why they're there.
We all signed up to serve our country. Of course, it makes perfect sense in a military system where we all signed up to serve our country. In a jail system where the first rule is mind your own business, it doesn't work. I cannot tell the man next to me what to do. I cannot tell him what to do. I cannot ask him what he's doing. I cannot ask him why he's here. I cannot ask him anything. We are completely individuals here. And you are not allowed to mind somebody else's business. Every day a guy sticks a bottle of water in the sink. He puts his packet of Kool-Aid in the water and turns the cold water over the top of the bottle. It sits there with the cold water running over it. You can hear it. You can hear the sound running from the sink. Now, if your bunk is anywhere near it, the sound of running water, you just go, why is water running? And you naturally would think, well, I'm in the desert in Las Vegas. That's fresh water. I'm going to go over there and turn that water off.
This feels so specific. What I'm gathering from this is Chilie fucked up someone making Kool-Aid and they yelled at him. That's the vibe I'm getting from this story. Is Chilie, someone was trying to make Kool-Aid and Chilie turned the water off and they're like, what the fuck's wrong with you? I'm making Kool-Aid. Which, yeah, Kool-Aid's fucking delicious. I'd be mad too. Don't ruin my Kool-Aid, Chilie, you asshole.
No, you're not, because the first rule in the dungeon is mind your own fucking business. So now...
Is he fucking paying the water bill? Why does he care?
If any one of these people get out of line, the sergeant came in and said, the NRS code, the Nevada Revised Statute, NRS, Nevada Revised Statute, it says that you guys only get 1 hour of free time a day. Now, currently, we're scheduled for 9 hours of free time a day. We don't get 9 hours of free time, by the way. It means you can walk over to the table, the cafeteria table, sit down and watch TV. You can take a shower. You can go to the bathroom. You can get on the commissary, or you can get on the phone. But that's what free time is.
I mean, that is, I mean, in jail, that's free time. Like, what do you think when they say free time, does he think he's going to get to go to the mall? Like, what does he think free time means in jail? You do things in the jail.
You can't just meander around and talk to other people. You can't just go over to someone else's bunk and go, hey man, why are you here? What's going on? You can't have a conversation at anybody's bunk. You can't sit and talk to anybody. You have to be sitting at the cafeteria table, in the bathroom, on the commissary screen, or on the phone. Other than that, you are in your bunk. So the sergeant let us all know that you only get, according to Nevada Revised Statute, 1 hour of free time a day. Now, maybe that's something that should change. Maybe human beings are not... The human being is the most social animal in the world.
Again, Chilie is literally taking time to tell us jail sucks. We know. I'm going to start skipping through, because he's just doing the same thing now.
He said, no, I really am insane. I said, no, you're not. I said, I've been in this room with you for 5 days. And for 5 days, you've been able to sit on your bunk for a minimum of 18 hours a day. Minimum. That's not including all the extra lockdowns we got. So more like 20, 22 hours a day on some days we were locked down to our bed. I said, I have a cousin who died named Matthew. I said, if my cousin Matthew was here and they told him to sit in that bed for 18, 20 hours straight, as you have done, he wouldn't be able to do it because he was literally insane. So you're not insane, bro. And he looked around and he was like, I'm not insane? I said, no, you're not insane. If you were insane, you wouldn't be able to do it.
Insanity isn't determined by whether or not you can sit in a bed for X amount of time. What?
When you wake up in the morning, you say, how can I help the leader help him overturn Terry versus Ohio? And maybe that's your mission, and that's okay. The very first one is the government dictation.
Okay, let's check his live one from today.
Welcome. You ate a bunch of people are getting more.
Oh, maybe it didn't happen.
Sure, of course.
Oh, there it is.
Hold on a second. Let me set it. Did not back. Sorry, now You need to for somebody who's on to speak to
Incarcerated individual at Clark County Detention Center, Las Vegas, Nevada. This call is not private. It will be recorded and may be monitored. If you believe this should be a private call, please hang up and follow facility instructions to register this number as a private number.
To accept this free call, press 1. To refuse this free call, press 2. If you thank you for using Securus, you may start the conversation now.
All right, Chile, we're live, man. Hold on a second. Let me set up my microphone so we can hear you. Okay, go ahead, Chill.
Hey, everybody.
Oh, he's literally holding up the phone microphone to his desk microphone. Very professional. Good setup. Are you familiar with the concept of like a Google number? You could get a phone number on the computer and receive the call through the computer, and then that could be an element in your streaming. That way it doesn't... Whatever.
There in the free world. What's going on out there in the land of the unfree America? I guess I'm kind of the embodiment of that right now, aren't I?
Welcome out there in the land of unfree America. Me, Chile DeCastro, the main character of Planet Earth, I guess I'm kind of the embodiment of that unfree America, aren't I? Yeah? Yeah. What the fuck?
So, thanks, Brian, for setting this up. And before we get going, I wanted to give a deep and warm thanks to my friend Brian, who, without him, I wouldn't have a voice and I wouldn't have an outlet. And he's done such an amazing job of fundraising, and y'all have put in your hard-earned money, and I just want to say thank you, and I won't stop. And I want to say thank you to Brian specifically for doing what
he's made $30,000 in like a week. He's making more money than all of us in jail.
Done. And there's so many other people who have been helping me behind the scenes that I'm not going to say their names out loud, but thank you to all of you. And I wish I could call each and every one of you. I wish I could pick up the phone, say, hey, thank you so much for supporting me and staying with me, because this is literally the hardest thing that I've ever been through. The dungeon system here in Nevada is the place that I'm at is a minimum security prison, a minimum security dungeon where
minimum security dungeon.
There's, I've kind of laid it out in a couple of videos on and talking with the editor, and it's just this big room where there's just beds. Not so much that the guards are mean. It's just kind of like a schoolyard bully who will, tell you to shut up, and you have to shut up. If you don't shut up, you will be sent over to your bunk, which is a metal sheet.
It's so funny that this is horrifying to him in part because there are people in charge of him that can dole out consequences for his actions.
And then
I'm not allowed to talk back to the guards at all. They send me to my bunk.
There's like a 1-inch thin, it's such a tattered, you call a mattress, but it's not a mattress. I wrote about it. I'll have a ebook coming out when I get out of here.
Oh, is it called My Struggle? Fuck off, Chili. What the fuck?
You have to go to your bunk and lay on this sheet of metal.
He's writing a...
I stay on the sheet of metal at least 18 hours a day. There's a registered or scheduled 8 hours of free time every day, which include sitting on a cafeteria table or taking a shower or going out into this we call a rec yard. But I stay on my bed. I stay on my bed 22, 23 hours.
Wait, wasn't he just complaining? Hold on.
Shower, brush my teeth.
He was just complaining that we only get 9 hours of free time or whatever. And now he's like, no, I voluntarily stay in my bed. It was torture, I said before, to be on lockdown, but now I'm choosing to be on lockdown, even though I have 9 hours of free time in the day. The fuck? I wish I had 9 hours. I probably have 9 hours of free time. That's a lie. That's a lie. I have 9 hours of free time in a day. I'm very fortunate. Tori with 50 bits says, so he's been in jail for what, 3 or 4 days? I think 6 days now. Today's day 5 or 6, something like that.
Eat slop that they serve, and it's pig slop. It's the lowest form of food you could possibly put into a human being.
This I would agree with. Prison food is so disgusting it should be fucking illegal. I'm gonna go get another Coke Zero. I'll be back in just a sec. Don't go anywhere. If you do, I'll find you.
It literally, they give you bologna, the little slab of bologna some days, and then in the morning they'll give you you wake up 3 o'clock in the morning, you're done with breakfast by 4 at the latest, but the breakfast is late. Breakfast consists of a glob of peanut butter, cornflakes, and a packet of jelly and 2 pieces of white bread. And as you know, I had to get my blood pressure down, so I don't eat that white bread and I don't eat that jelly. So I just blob of peanut butter and I don't eat those flakes. And I would recommend anybody else that their flakes are just garbage. So then after that, you got to go back to your bunk and you stay there until 8 o'clock in the morning. And then from 8 till 9 or 10 or 11, depending on if you get locked down or not, locked down again, you have to go back to your bunk and sit on the bunk. And then 8 to 11, you'll have free time, and then they'll serve lunch at about 11. Then you're locked down again from 11 till noon, or I think it's 10 a.m. we have lunch, and then you're locked down from 10 o'clock until noon, and then you're free from noon until 3 o'clock, which is how I was able to make this phone call now. And now, at any time, you can get in trouble and get locked down.
That's true.
Now, it consists of anything, just absolutely anything. For example, there's 4 aisles here. If you walk down an aisle that your bunk is not on, you'll be locked down for 24 hours. That's where you cannot leave your bunk for 24 hours. And then there's a lot of personalities in here. So someone might say you're looking at them. It's the most ridiculous. So then,
yeah, he said you get like 9 hours of free time per day. They do breakfast. They get an hour where they have to stay in their rooms or bunks, and then they get 3 hours of free time. Then I assume they do lunch, and then they have more free time, I think most of the time they have is free time, it seems like, which, like, I know it's not fun. I'm not acting like it's fun. They are in jail. They're restricted. I understand. It's probably incredibly mind-numbing and boring and ridiculous. But, like, he's in minimum security prison. In terms of, like, what you could be doing in a prison, he's not that bad off. He's not in solitary. He's just bored, mostly, probably. He's probably very bored and unstimulated. Toriador says, live streams from Clark County Detention Center by constitutional scholar Chilie. What's his name?
Free till 3 are supposed to be free. I can be on the phone, the cafeteria table, or on my bunk. That's free time, or in the shower. And so then I'll be locked down again in exactly 1 hour, if not sooner.
Like, it's not even really stopping him from streaming. He's doing this every day. You know what I mean?
I'll be back on my bunk from 3 until 7 o'clock. So dinner at 7 o'clock, and then you're free again from 8 p.m. until 11 p.m. or 7 p.m. until 10 p.m. That's what my days are like.
Yeah, he's in jail, not prison. There's a difference.
So for the past 3 or 4 days, I've just been downloading to the editor, how I think and what I think, just sharing with you guys my thought processes and how I see the world and how I see the world. And now more than ever, these petty squabbles between people who are on the side of transparency and liberty, they must be squashed. We must unite at some way, some level. Egos have to drop and friendships and alliances must be formed, or we will be divided, conquered. And I will be appealing this obstruction conviction and the resisting conviction.
He wants to appeal this. The appeal process would take longer than he is going to be in jail for. He got 180 days in jail. The appeal process from finding a lawyer to actually going through the appeal courts would take longer than he will be in jail.
Because if I don't, the next time they arrest me, then they'll try to put me in jail for a very long time. I have an appeals.
Yes, misdemeanor. His charge is a misdemeanor he got 6 months for.
I have an appeals hearing on Monday morning in Las Vegas, and I know that I mentioned last time that maybe some of you guys should come. I think that this time we should pack that courtroom. I have free Chilie t-shirts up.
I think he's probably complying more than he lets on. I imagine he'll continue to do so and get through his 6 months and get out, and he'll grift off it the whole time.
On the website in the next 2 moments, but really they may not be done in time to wear them to the hearing, so you could just get a t-shirt from Walmart for $3 and write free Chilie on it and come to the hearing. If you're in the Las Vegas,
right, free Chilie.
Nevada area, if you're in Southern California and you can make the drive, then I'm asking you to come, because we have to show the judge that I'm not just a leader online, I'm a leader in real life.
That was the problem. The judge didn't see you as a leader in real life. Only online? What? What the fuck is his thought? We need to show the judge I'm a leader in real life, not just online. Where is his brain at where he thinks that sentence makes sense?
Leader in real life has people show up. They just show up. We need to pack that courtroom full of people that all are united with the same message, that the tyrannical sentencing and the
That's just someone with their pants down. This is B-roll from the news.
By real people who show up, they know, free him. And I'm gonna keep it together during this talk because I have to. But I have not.
Looks like a hotel from outside. Only difference is you can't check out whenever you want.
I'm dishonest. I have cried 1,000 tears. I have spent many days and nights awake, just sitting there with my eyes open, thinking about how this kind of tyranny, how this kind of injustice could happen to me, and what my responsibility and it is, and I've already owned that. And I'm live and I'm talking to so many of you now, I'll own it again. I have told you all, I have lectured you all, that when you go to court, you have to sit up straight, yes sir, no sir, yes your honor, no your honor, and I did not do that. So
that is funny. He has before said to, like, not be rude to the judge and stuff, and then he immediately was? Weird choices. Weird choices he's made.
Ability for my flight, for my disregard of what the system is. You know, you shouldn't have to do those things, but you do. And because I didn't do them, and I gave that, the wife of the cop, the judge, her last name, Zimmerman, is exactly that of her ex-husband, Lieutenant Zimmerman from Las Vegas Metro Police Department.
Oh, wow. He's talking about his judge that sentenced him and her husband, who was apparently a cop. Hey, Poetic Fox.
She is the wife of a cop, meaning that while we on this team, DLZ, despise cops or strongly dislike them or don't respect them, she sleeps with them and marries them. And she has wedding parties with hundreds of cops, and she thinks these are the greatest guys in the world. So when I acted...
This call is being terminated by the facility.
Oh, they're listening in. They hear you, Chilie, trying to dox the fucking judge and her husband. Holy shit. He's probably in so much fucking trouble. Oh my god, he's fucked. She's a judge. You're fucked. This call may be monitored. Just a thought. Ugh. Cauldron Holefield can't believe it either.
Oh boy, that's not good.
You don't say, huh? Maybe you shouldn't be trying to dox the judge. Oh.
And she thinks these are the greatest guys in the world. So when I acted...
This call is being terminated by the facility.
Oh boy, that's not good.
I get a feeling we're not going to be getting calls from jail from Chile for a while. This just happened, by the way. This live stream happened like an hour ago. So that's good.
That wasn't good. I've had 5 or 6 conversations with Chile since he's been in, and it never terminates like that. It always
Has he tried to dox judges and their spouses before?
says you have a minute left, so that wasn't good.
What could we have done wrong? Toriador says, I mean, they flashed the judge's name and office location and number in the screenshots they're rotating too. Yeah. The court, the jail didn't necessarily see that, but they heard everything he was saying, so.
Oh, it's because he was talking about Zimmerman.
Yeah! You think?
Oh, man. I wonder if he'll get in trouble for that.
I wonder if you'll get in trouble for that, if I'm being honest.
What I was showing you here in the background, this is the inside of the Clark County Detention Facility. There was also this one that's got 19 million views. It's top 5 moments from Clark County Jail. It's kind of weird because it seems like a reality show type deal, but you can kind of see the bunk set up. I don't like these reality shows. It's like when there's a camera present, nobody's going to be acting. Oops. Nobody's going to be acting natural or normal. Yeah, they did not like that at all. I totally agree. Has anybody ever been to the Clark County Correctional Facility? I need to actually be careful what I play here because there was this fight at the Clark County Detention Center. But you can kind of see the setup. Let's see. It had a wide angle shot right here. Yeah, that's kind of what part of the mess hall looks like. Wow, I wonder if he's going to get in trouble for what he said about SEK. Thank you for that.
He's going to get in trouble for trying to direct people to the identity of the judge that he has a vendetta against, yeah.
Oh, SEK Rudolph, I appreciate it. Man, I don't know. I was trying to listen to what he was saying, and I was also trying to scan the comments, so I kind of missed some of that. But if there was anything derogatory against a judge, and he did say her name, so there's probably some kind of algorithm that they have connected to the phone lines.
It's probably not an algorithm. It's probably literally some fucking minimum wage person sitting on the other end having to listen to this shit.
That shut him down on that. God, that makes me cringe because I'm thinking, okay, what kind of punishment can...
Like, do they not understand that there's literally call centers that work for this company that sit there and monitor to make sure that they're not, like, plotting crimes or confessing to things or, like, fucking what?
Can there be... I'm not familiar with this. Can there be extra punishment that can be given to an inmate for saying something over the phone?
If those things are illegal...
Maybe he loses his phone privileges or something.
Probably. They can definitely take away privileges, and I'm sure they're going to. If he was upset about how restricted he felt before, oh my god.
I don't know. Anybody know? But in 5, probably 6.
It's true. You can only dox judges if you're rich or have people that think you're rich. Very true.
Conversations that I've had with Chile, it always says you have 1 minute remaining for this call, and it gives you a 1 minute warning. Never does it terminate. It hasn't terminated like that. And married a cop, ? Super cozy over here. You know,
Was that wrong? Was I not supposed to do that?
when you use social media, you got to be super careful about what you say and make sure that it can't be construed as making a threat. And you don't want to make a threat anyway. Thanks a lot, Jay. I appreciate it.
Chile would
Yes,
never
you will have
threaten
no phone
anyone.
for a bit. Yeah, gosh.
Toriador says, welcome, Chile, to the finding out phase of fucking around and finding out.
See, that kind of
My
sucks
favorite part.
because we need to find out when this appeal is going to go through. And
it won't. It's not gonna.
We're not going to get the inside on it if he can only communicate, unless,
or as the meme would say, that's the neat part. It doesn't.
Somebody's communicating directly with his appeals lawyer, which I need some information on that so that I can do some research and find out if I can get a hold of the guy so I can get some updates through him. Because if Chile loses his phone privileges on this, we're not going to get any updates on that end.
Snail mail.
You should go see him and set up a code for certain words. That'd be a good idea. I'm sure.
Yeah, let's keep doing the thing. Let's use code words. They'll never figure it out.
They're on to
Yeah, so here's the thing about Judge Assface. That'll get him.
that kind of stuff, like file in the cake kind of thing. I'm sure they're on to that kind of stuff. There's probably stuff that's recorded. People are getting pretty savvy to this AI stuff. The AI may record the voices and then generate some kind of algorithm, automatically.
Literally a person was listening. What are you talking about?
Generate an algorithm that deciphers.
Generate an algorithm? It's a person with a headset listening and going, this ain't good. Bang! Call ended.
Word orders and word choices and capital letters and all that kind of stuff. And they could probably read your messages pretty easily, unless you can speak Navajo or something. And even then, AI's getting pretty crazy. Apparently our rights don't matter.
AI is gonna figure out our secret codes in Navajo. Oh god.
Court these days. Yeah, apparently free speech doesn't matter.
He is in jail. He is in jail. He is in fucking jail. As far as they are concerned, his phone calls are a privilege, not a right. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
Free speech doesn't matter. I don't think he's going to be calling back, guys. I don't think he's going to be calling back.
You think? You think?
What jail is he in? He is in the Clark County.
Oh, good. Yes, more.
Correctional facility. That's what I was showing when he was talking. I was giving you these, this is right here.
Tea with Goblin says, I do this for a living, transcribing prison phone calls for court cases. We know, Chile. We know you're talking in code, you dipshit.
Clark County Detention Center is where he is right now. Hopefully he can get out in the next couple days.
Hopefully he can get out in the next couple... There is no way he actually believes this, right? Does this guy really believe that Chile's gonna be out in days and not 6 months from now? What the fuck? Oh my god. We're still in denial, apparently. We're in the denial phase for these people.
We should send him thousands of letters, somebody said. Yeah, they listen to everything. They tell you before.
Good, they can hook the mailbag directly to a shredder. They can make confetti or something.
Before the call goes. They're like, everything that you say is being recorded. Are you sure you want to accept this? Yeah, okay, I will. High profile case, they probably had
Ilche Udke Octe Inye Igpe Atenlay. I'm sure that'll get him.
Human listening. No free speech from jail. There could have been a human listening. And then
They're so bad at this.
if the human was listening and he didn't cut off the phone, then he would get in trouble and possibly get, a write-up in his file. So who knows? He didn't threaten the judge. Chile has a target on his back by law enforcement pigs. No. I'm not saying that he threatened anybody. If I said that, I apologize. I don't realize I didn't realize I said that. If I said that, I'm just saying he said the Z word. He said Zimmerman. He said Ann Zimmerman, the judge married to a cop. So they probably don't want you talking about. There's probably key words that they put into phone calls that automatically disables the phone call, or they tell the
let's pull up a heuristic. Let's pull up Occam's razor. Is that really the simplest explanation here? Really? Do you think that prison systems are high-tech, cutting-edge AI? Or do you think they probably outsource it to the lowest common, like, the lowest bidder company that listens and hits a panic button if they're saying something illegal or fucked up?
Human that's listening, hey, if they mention anything about the judge, the prosecuting attorney, or whatever, terminate the call ASAP. I'm just guessing, man. I'm spitballing. I don't know about any of this stuff.
No kidding.
This is all new to me. They do listen to the phone calls, says, wow, that's going fast.
Cicero Fields, thanks for the 3-stream streak.
All right. That's pretty much all I had. I'm going to keep this as a self-contained, less than 30-minute video so that people can listen to what Chilie had to say. I doubt you guys want to hear me jabber my jaws and flap my gums. I appreciate you guys. Remember, if you want to, let's see if I got this. Do I have the link? Yeah. If you want to support Chilie, there's the link. I just put it in there under delete laws. And if you want to support him, because he is going to need some support, and also whatever money is not used by Chilie is going to use for Hendry or Flex Your Freedoms or Press with Rancor or any.
Jails are notorious for cheaping out on important stuff. Yeah. I can't believe that happened. Every time I think Chilie's just like, Chilie's, done. He's done it this time. He's finally hit rock bottom. He just does something else that I just have to go like, what are you doing? How do you think any of this works? So, enough Chilie. Let's move on to some other sob sit stuff. How about this? This is a court thing.
This matter is State versus Isaiah Curvin, 24 TR 17.
H-Beard says, there's a way for lawyers to mark mail so it doesn't get opened by jails and prisons. My father's a retired lawyer and does a lot of pro bono work for clemency hearings, and he has to go to the post office every day to communicate with his clients. Oh.
There's a name of Isaiah Curvin on the screen. Please turn on your monitor.
I'm here.
Mr. Curvin, is the headgear you're wearing a religious item?
It's a cap. I'm outside. It was snowing out here. I'm in Oklahoma City. I'll take it off in a second. That's why I got my jackets on. Yeah, it's kind of cold outside. No problem. Yeah.
Thank you. All right. This is your first appearance. We were scheduled for an
nice
earlier
that the judge initially asked if it was a religious thing, and he didn't immediately.
Date. Mr. Curvin did not appear at that time. A 30-day suspension letter was ordered to be sent. Mr. Curvin apparently contacted the clerk's office following at some point in intervening and requested hearing. So we're here today for first appearance. Mr. Curvin, you are charged with driving without a valid driver's license or no DL. That is a Class B non-person misdemeanor. A B misdemeanor is punishable up to 6 months in the county jail and a fine not to exceed $1,000. Not saying that's what the penalty will be. It's just what the maximum available under Kansas law.
So driving without a license, pretty common sovereign citizen thing because they don't think they need driver's licenses or insurance.
You have the right to a trial if you are subject to a jail sentence.
He's sitting in a car. Looks like he's in the driver's seat, but it's not in motion or anything.
Uh,
It wouldn't surprise me if he is driving, even if he's not supposed to. Because again, sovereign citizens don't think they need driver's licenses, even after they get arrested for not having a license. It's a whole thing.
where if that's a possibility, then if you wish to have an attorney but could not afford one, you could apply to the court if you met the financial guidelines.
It's also possible that between then and now he has gotten his license renewed or something. Again, that's not very in line with Sobsits, but it's possible. Who knows? Or it's someone else's car. Who knows? I'm not going to assume.
Then I would appoint an attorney to represent you. However, if a person is not facing a jail sentence, then they're not entitled to court-appointed counsel. We'll take that up as go further. Additionally, at a trial, you would have the right to be presumed not guilty. The state would have the burden of proof of beyond a reasonable doubt. You would have the right to cross-examine the state's witnesses. You have the right to call witnesses on your own behalf and to utilize the court subpoena power to make sure they attend. Additionally, you would have the right to testify or not testify as you see fit. If you chose not to testify, that could not be used against you in determining if you're guilty or not guilty. Do you understand your rights, sir?
I do not understand. Under what jurisdiction does this court claim to have authority over me?
I do. Yes, sir.
Damn.
In a moment, I'm going to ask how you wish to proceed in regards to a plea. Right now, do you have a plan in regards to an attorney? Are you hiring an attorney, asking the court to appoint, representing yourself?
I might need to change the batteries in this thing.
Represent myself, Your Honor.
Very well. Mr. Curvin, you looks like you're 33 years old. So absent some other compelling reason, you'd be able to represent yourself. If you wish to, I'm going to ask what your plea is. If you wish to have a trial, if you wish to, I don't know if you qualify for a diversion. If you wish to try to get the case resolved either through counsel or yourself with the county attorney's office.
Come on, jurisdiction, jurisdiction, jurisdiction.
Any of those things, then your plea should be not guilty. If you choose to plead guilty, then we would proceed to sentencing. I would hear from both parties in a pronounced sentence. If you plead no contest, that is
no whammies, no whammies,
the state
no
were
whammies.
to present what we refer to as a proffer. A person who's pleading no contest are not challenging the charge, but they're not pleading guilty per se. If there's a proffer that supports the facts that would result in a guilty verdict, then that person would be found guilty and we'd proceed to sentencing in the same manner as I described before. With those things in mind, how do you wish to plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Are we on the record?
Yes.
Well, on the record before I make a plea, I'd like to simply state that I do not understand the nature and cause of the action in regard of the elements of my personal jurisdiction, the venue, and the nature cause of action until the prosecution has allegedly for me, and therefore I'm not able to enter a plea until then. I'd like to know if it's
He's trying the jurisdiction thing.
if it's going to be if I'm going to be tried under common law, or is it going to be under maritime law?
Can you speak up a little bit?
Yeah, he's mumbling his way through it, unfortunately. But he is doing the sovereign citizen typical, I'm questioning the jurisdiction. Is this criminal? Is this maritime?
It's difficult to hear you.
I got my headphones on. Did you hear what I said, or just what part did you need to
I heard part of what you said, so.
Okay.
He's kind of mumbling and talking really fast, which makes it really difficult to parse what he's saying.
I was saying, for the record, I did not simply understand nature and cause of action brought against me. With regards
at this point, I'm a better sovereign citizen than most of them. I'm really, really good at useless things.
The elements of our personal jurisdiction, and also the nature cause of action until the jurisdiction, the prosecution has let me know what they're going to try me underneath, so I can let you know what I'm going to make my plea. down there. I'm not really sure if it's under common law or is it maritime amity law. So I can know how to defend myself, and then I can enter my plea.
All right. Have you filed a motion for discovery in this case?
I filed in my I put a special appearance in affidavit in about a week ago.
Well, there's something that's listed as correspondence in the court file. I'm looking at it now. It's not an official pleading. Neither does it state that you've requested information from the state that we refer to as discovery.
You didn't receive. I emailed. I actually faxed the special appearance. Did you receive it?
Special appearance. This is a thing where they think that if they call their appearance to their court a special appearance, then the court doesn't have authority over them. Of course, that isn't true. So he sent in some bogus paperwork saying that he was appearing as a special appearance in front of the court. It doesn't matter either way, but I guess they didn't get it. Again, it doesn't matter. It's not a lawful thing, but that's what he's trying to do.
There's a document that looks like it is served or before a notary in Oklahoma that reflects what appears to be your signature and says respondent beneficiary of the name.
Oh, they did get it.
Defendant in constitutional rights / benefits.
It should
Is that
be like
the document you're referring to?
Yeah, I think is it just only one that went through? Because there's like 4 pages, 4 or 5, a few pages that went through, not just one.
There's a 1-page document.
There's only one. It's supposed to be more. I faxed the more over there. It was supposed to be like 4 pages.
It's 1 page. Where it begins is at the top. It says the Supreme Court said in U.S. versus Mirsky.
Yeah, I have a copy right here with me. I think you're just referring to the last page. And I sent like 4 pages of them. I think I got it notarized at the end of it, and I think the notary already sent the last page to you, but it was supposed to be 4 more pages to go with that. And that was the special appearance.
All right.
Another person who doesn't know what a notary's for. Sovereign citizens have the impression that notaries somehow make documents legitimate in the sense that, like, the things in the document are real. No. All a notary does is an official witness to a excuse me. An official witness to a signature on a document. That's it. I could write on a napkin, I'm the princess of Booby Land, and then I could pay a notary to, like, watch me sign it. It doesn't make it true.
Are you
as many times as I've tried
entering a plea of guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
I cannot enter a plea at the moment because I'm not sure what I'm going to be tried under. What jurisdiction am I going to be tried under? I do not understand the nature of the cause of action being brought up yesterday.
Well, I've explained what you're charged with.
Yes.
Yes, Nemesis.
I'm going to
exactly.
Put you down as a plea of not guilty and set this matter for trial. If you wish to...
Booby Land, where? It's where you go when you take your estrogen and a heroic dose of mushrooms at the same exact time. It's a joke. Don't do drugs, kids. Except estrogen. Estrogen's rad.
Because my special appearance didn't make it. I need to resend it as well. How can I reset it so I can have a chance to resend my special appearance because it didn't make it into. I guess you already had the last copy of it. There's more pages that you didn't receive. I need to enter that in beforehand. How can I reset it so I can do that? I have time to do that. I can do it today, and we can reset it for this same time next week if that's okay with you.
I'm going to go ahead and set this for trial. You can, if you have pretrial motions that you'd like to address, they need to be properly filed.
Okay.
Sometimes if people are representing themselves, they're still held to the same standard as an attorney would be.
Yes,
you can do whatever you want.
And sometimes people don't have the experience to do that correctly. So there's an advantage to having an attorney. But I'm going to set aside 2 hours for bench trial.
I'd like to be tried by jury if that's okay.
Nope.
If I'm going to be separate trial.
It's a misdemeanor and it's only a max of 6 months in prison. You're not entitled to a jury trial.
if it has to be.
It has to be a minimum of, I think the current is 1 year in prison or over it's either over $1,000 or $5,000 jury trial.
Separate trial. Like
Have you made a written request for trial?
It's guaranteed. You can make written requests.
Jury?
But it's not guaranteed unless it's over 6 months, over a year, or over 6 months, over a year, at least a year? Something around there.
I have not. This is my first appearance today.
If you're seeking to have a jury trial, then you're going to need to file a written motion in that regard.
Okay.
Again,
I think it's a
pursuant to
federal
Kansas
thing.
law, there are restrictions in that regard.
I think it's a constitutional thing. I think they determined that a right to a jury trial only applies above a certain amount.
When we set a jury trial, I generally have a pretrial date that we have. You will be required
$20
to
is
be
for
here.
civil trials.
You're
You're entitled to a civil trial over $20.
To conduct that hearing. If you have pretrial motions,
which is where like small claims court comes from,
you're wishing to have heard, we typically would do that in advance at a pretrial. I'm going to set a pretrial date at this time. It'll give you an opportunity to place your written motion for request for jury trial. We will set that hearing for, Sarah, can you give us a date within 30 days?
How long would you like for the pretrial, sir?
Anytime is fine before the 17th.
An hour.
That's 1 hour. Okay.
He's surprising it wasn't too bad for a sovereign citizen. He asked the questions and stuff, but he didn't really talk out of turn. So I really wish he would get a lawyer. But at least he's not flagrantly disregarding like courtroom decorum, which is good for him.
Do you have very much scheduled with Satterfield for your half day?
Can I do another day besides the 17th? I can't make that day. I have something on that day. Is there like maybe like the 15th or maybe after the 17th? That's the one day I cannot make.
We could do the morning of May 1st at 9 a.m.
Okay.
So May 1st at 9 a.m. That will be in person at the Elk County Courthouse in Howard, Kansas. You'll need to appear at that time. You'll need to have your pretrial motions filed, including your request for a jury trial. At that time, if everything's in order, we'll set a trial. Counsel, anything further?
Not on Mr. Curvin, Judge.
Mr. Curvin, anything further today?
No, Judge.
Very well.
Wow. That was surprising how well he took that after he was like, nope. All right, what's next? Getting free credit but never paying it back from Taquan, who's constantly trying to get people in jail.
I'm all good. Can't complain. Can't complain.
This guy tells people how to do fraud, basically. His channel is an instructional channel, and you can pay him money also to get, like, tips. I don't know if he has a website or whatever, you know. You know how the whole, everyone's got a university, everyone's got a program they're selling. He does that, but how to do synthetic identity fraud. Yeah. Black's Law Dictionary request. What would you like me to look up, Marcus Drake? Special appearance? Okay.
Fam, what's up? What's good? Blessings. A lot of these card companies are giving out judgment when you don't pay now. I notice they'll take you to court. What are your thoughts? Okay, fam. Okay. Can we talk about LLC versus PMC? Explain what a PMC. Family, what's good? What's good? Good evening, everybody. How y'all doing? What's going on? This Taquan next and everything like that. So we're going to talk tonight. We're going to be talking about, you know, getting free credit but never paying it back, right? Now, most people get this misconstrued.
He just says it. He just says it out loud. He just says with his whole chest, here's how to commit crime. I can't.
When I say free credit, I'm not talking about you just filing a 1099-A or anything like that. I'm talking about literally using your credit in order to get free services, good vehicles and credit cards and etc., but never paying them back. Now, most of the time when you want to do a move where you want to get free credit and let's just say like, man, I don't want to pay it back. I don't want to be responsible.
Man, I sure don't want to pay these debts back, I think to myself, but doesn't matter because you're an adult and you should pay your fucking debts back. What the fuck? Boop, boop, boo. It's in here somewhere. I actually don't think it's in here. I don't think special appearance is in here. We have sovereignty. Do you want sovereignty? Sovereign right? A right which the state alone or some of its governmental agencies can possess, and which it possesses in the character of a sovereign, for the common benefit and to enable it to carry out its proper functions, distinguished from such propriety rights as a state, like any private person, may have in property or demands which it owns. Yeah, they don't have special appearance.
Responsible for it. You better be using a credit privacy number, which would be a CPN number or an EIN number, because trying to run up credit plays using your own.
There's no such thing as a CPN number. There's only other people's social security numbers that you have stolen or bought from someone who stole them.
Social will be almost backwards, because if you put yourself in a position where you using your own social to crash out on your own credit, it'll almost hurt you at the end. Now, when
How's this guy not in jail? Because he commits fraud. He gives them fake information. He gives them fake names, he gives them fake addresses and stuff, gets money, and then he buys a bunch of iPhones or credit or other things on the credit cards, and then he sells them for actual money. And then he uses that money to get more credit cards under false identities, and he does this over and over and over.
most people crash out on their credit, most people don't even get something substantial. Most people run off with $1,000 on a credit card. Most people don't pay back a $5,000 debt, right? Now, those
Quan, have you considered that those people are trying to mitigate the amount of money they steal from others? Just a thought.
those are considered small. There's people out there that I know that ran off for $200,000.
If I ran off with $1,000 debt, I'd be nervous for the rest of my life. I'd always be afraid.
But not purposely or intentionally, right? These people, like, probably couldn't pay it back, or, the circumstances of whatever happened, it just, they just couldn't pay it back. But if you want to put yourself in a position where you can borrow anything and never have to pay for it, case in point, I got a student, right? They got a vehicle out. They never paid on it. They had the vehicle over, I want to say like a year and a half, 2 years. The vehicle, they paid, $130,000, never made one car note. Now, with that vehicle alone, I already told them, if you don't get a...
Stole a $130,000 car. That's absurd.
Lien release from the vehicle, because I taught them, like, look, this is how you go about getting a lien release. But if you're not able to get a lien release, you can just sell the vehicle, right? So...
With what paperwork? It's got a lien on it.
In the case where you just want to run it up, right, whether you want to get vehicles and everything like that, you still got to know how to protect the assets as well, right? So most people who trying to get vehicles, most people who trying to get houses or whatever the case might be, you still got to know how to maneuver. Now, for mortgages, I would cut them off, and I'm gonna tell you why. The reason why I would cut off mortgages, because 9 times out of 10, you got to go at it with the law. So a lot of these frivolous filings that you will see on YouTube where everybody just say, oh, you can just send them this, send them a bills of exchange. This time you really got to take them to federal court. You got to take these people to court because they not giving.
You want to steal from someone else, and then when they come to try and get the thing back that you stole, you want to take them to federal court? That's a bold move.
No, they not taking no notes, no promissory notes. They not taking nothing. So you got to take them the far way, because it's a property, it's land. It's not a vehicle. It's not a credit card. It's not a loan or anything like that. If you put yourself in a position where you grab a credit card from...
A mortgage is a loan, If you're talking about a home mortgage, that's a loan. It's certainly backed up by real property, but it's a loan.
Amex. And let's just say if you had a $30,000 balance and you say, I'm gonna max it out, but I'm not gonna pay it back. Now, usually when you have a credit card
Paying a credit card payment like a week late for some reason gives me anxiety. And this guy's literally talking about pulling out tens of thousands of dollars and in debt and just planning not to pay it. How does he live his life? I'd be a wreck. I'd just be constantly in a ball of anxiety crying like, the consequences are coming for me.
that big and you spend it all, now it would reflect on your credit report. Now you got two options. One option would be to dispute it off your credit report to get the whole account deleted. Or you can go just leave it like it is and let it fall off by itself. Now, I would never do that because, usually it stay on for like 7 years. But disputing an account off your credit might be the easiest route. But most of the time, you want to make that dispute when the account is already charged off. That means when the lender charged off the debt and they send it to collections. Because when you're trying to dispute an active loan or an active account, the company still would claim it because anytime the credit bureau would send them a notice, they pretty much gonna send back proof of ownership, meaning they got proof that you own that debt. They can show the wires that you sent from your bank account. You get what I'm saying? They can show the payments that you made. But when you send it to collections, they sell it to a third party, and most of the time the collections don't have the information that you had with the credit card company in order that y'all, the transactions that y'all made. So with that being said, that credit, you get what I'm saying, will be deleted from your credit report, but you still got to do it 3 times. So you have to dispute it from Experian, you have to dispute it from TransUnion, and you have to dispute it from Equifax, right? Now, this is for those who don't care about their credit. I have so many students, hey, Taquan, I like your plans, I like building up credit, but I want to crash out on my credit. It's many different ways.
I want to crash out on my credit is an incredibly horrifying sentence.
Now, me personally, I would say at least get the big stuff before the small stuff, right? So you don't want to put yourself in a position where you grab nothing, but you got to take a fall with only $1,000 worth of debt versus you can at least grab a $100,000 vehicle like one of my students. And this $100,000 vehicle is substantial because now it's charged off. Now it can be taken off her credit report. Now, if she chose to, she can get a lien release, or she can sell a car vehicle for parts, or she could take the car overseas to Canada or whatever the case might be and sell it, right? So many ways.
We're crossing international borders to commit crimes now. Bad move. Bad advice. Wow, this is so bad.
You can do it, family. It's not one way, it's not 2 ways, it's a million ways of scanning the cat. Now, it was a guy, right? And I want you guys to know this, right? So it was a guy at I was at the car wash. And I guess, he looked at my truck and everything. He said, man, I'll never in my life pay that much money for a truck. And I said, what you mean? I just won't pay that much money for a truck. And I kind of laughed because I was thinking to my man, I didn't pay nothing. So you assuming.
Joke's on you. I'm actually a huge criminal.
That someone paid a lot of money for a truck. But I didn't pay nothing. The banks did. And so
at a certain point, he becomes real life Carmen Sandiego. Oh yeah, there's I'd be lying if I told you there wasn't some small part of me that had that wow, that's almost impressive. It's disgusting and I hate it and I think it's foolish and the consequences will catch up to him eventually. But isn't there in every one of us that little part of your brain that goes, holy shit, he just is playing this he's playing real life like it's GTA. He is legitimately just trying to social engineer his way into riches, and the fact that he's gotten this far with it is horrifying and impressive. It's terrible. I think what he's doing is terrible. But holy shit.
So, a lot of
the authorities really suck for not catching this guy who was just openly on the internet talking about all his crimes, huh?
Credit cards that I did have and everything like that, and the vehicles that I had off my EIN, I took it off my credit report. I still took it off. My one of my EIN profiles is at a 715. My other EIN profile is at like a 705. So even though, you know, I don't pay some credit cards back, I just take it off my credit report. Once I take it off, you know, the game still go. The game
And
still.
it's not even like you would think, even if you were going to get involved in some sort of crime like this, you would try and parlay it into a legitimate business. Like, okay, I got $100,000 that I stole. Let's use that money to invest in some inventory, and then we'll just start, like, you know, you use that as a startup to actually start doing something legal. But he's like, not! He just keeps doing the illegal shit. Like, he's had more than enough opportunity at this point that he could have taken some of the money that he, like, stole and actually put it in some stuff to be more legit, you know? And he just, like, doesn't? It's such an interesting choice. It's, like, not even... It feels less like scamming as an end in and of itself, but scamming as a lifestyle. Like, he finds it to be just, like, ethically, this is what he thinks is the right thing to do, almost. It's interesting.
Still continues.
Not even right. I think he thinks he's smart for doing this. I think he thinks he's, like, really cunning, not understanding that most people don't do this because they're afraid of repercussions. Like, it's not, on top of that, just the unethical, like, reality of theft on this level. Like, I know it's abstract. Like, oh, he stole a car, he stole this money, whatever. But, like, that does come out of somewhere. Money means something.
Stop just because you went ahead and just took that off your credit report. Keep going. Now, you know, that's the fun side, but the real strategic side, you know, is the business investment part. You know, that's my purpose with it. I don't really care about the frivolous, oh, just taking this and taking that without thinking about what can I do to prolong it. You know, many students who get my EIN process and they want to build, I think that they don't understand what I had to go through to build it. So they think I just built it in a snap of a fingers, but it took me time to build my EIN profile out. It took me time to really get that number to where I need it. It took me time to get that credit limit to where I need it. It took me time to get that stuff where I need it. It took me time to do it. So it wasn't like an overnight play. It took time. And so once I really built it, it was easy to get what I want. So if I call the bank and say, man, I need 10,000, they gave it to me. I call the bank back, I need 15,000, they gave it to me, right? But it still took effort and time and put certain things in position and where they can build up that credit line, and then I can bust my move. I bust my move once I got to the top. I didn't do it at the bottom. You know, at first I had a credit card with how much my limit was. My limit was $2,500. Then they put my credit card limit at $5,000. Some people have ran off with the $5,000. I'm like, why would I run off with $5,000? And now I'm able to get $100,000. I'm able to get $50,000. I'm able to get $25,000.
I feel like in your rule of threes, you should have started with 25, then 50, then 100. You went down, and that's less. That's a weird way to list the amounts.
It just won't make no sense. It'd be best for me to just build up what I already have and take off from there. What do you know about CPN numbers? Yes, credit privacy numbers are the same method in my EIN process. So
CPNs aren't a thing, it's other people's social security numbers.
Let's just say this. If you have a CPN,
it's a scam where he or other people will be like, I'll sell you a CPN. It's a brand new, like, it's like a social security number, but blah, 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 blah. It's a stolen social security number. People get scammed into thinking they're buying something legal when they're really buying someone else's social security number and committing fraud.
You can use the EIN number with that same method. If you don't know how to use the EIN method, you can already have a CPN number and use and apply the EIN method to the CPN number. Remember, those are two different numbers. One is recognized by the IRS, which is recognized by the banks. The other one is a number that you make out of thin air. It's very hard to try merge a CPN number versus an EIN number. I want you guys to understand that. It is not the same. They don't function the same. They don't have the same data points or anything. The CPN
If CoffeeZilla wants to hunt a small fish for a while, this guy would be good content. Yeah, I'd agree.
number is the number that you make out of thin.
I wish someone with more resources than me would like try and figure this guy out, because like his videos are just constantly literally explaining his crimes.
In there, you got to try merge it fully. You have to really create that credit profile. You have to really, you get what I'm saying? So you really got to know, how to really step with a CPN number. And I ran up a CPN number too. Now the CPN number was okay. It wasn't the greatest. It wasn't everything because I never did much with it. You get what I'm saying? I did a little bit, but I never really did much with it. I got a credit card with it. But as far as my EIN number, I did way more with the EIN than I did with the CPN number.
For those who don't know, an EIN is an employer identification number. It's something businesses have, sort of like a business's social security number. It's a number that the IRS uses to identify a particular business that employs people, or at least in theory could employ people, and they have their own like credit score and stuff.
I did way more, family. I did way more. Bust way more plays with it. Made sure way more things got done with it. And my goal was to go to many banks to get paid, many institutions. I was in a situation where I could have got $50,000 right from it. It's one more little thing I had to do for my credit report to grab that $50,000. Now, picture right now, you get the $50,000. If you don't want to pay it, don't pay it. It's up to you. Like I say, it's optional. If you want to build it for business, you can. If you want to crash it out, do what you want to do.
CPN number. It's like ATM machine or DC Comics. We know.
For business. Relationships is everything, too. Relationships is everything. Relationships is everything, too. It took you time to build your EIN, but it also took money, and a lot of people don't want to hear that part, and it's an investment. Correct. Now, I'm going to tell you something. No, it didn't really take money.
You got to spend money to steal money.
Reason why it really didn't take money, because I didn't put nothing on my EIN when I first got my first credit card. When I first, I got a bank account with Chase. Now, I was just using the account, right? I never really did anything. I didn't have no credit cards. I didn't have auto loans on my credit. I just had a bank account with them. So I put a lot of money on that account, and I was just using it. And one day, I decided to apply for the credit card. Once I applied for the credit card, they approved me instantly. They said, you approved for a $2,500 limit. That was my start. I'm like, okay, I got a $2,500 limit on this card. What do I want to do now? I think the next step is to build it up even more. So now you're going to put yourself in a position to apply for another credit card. Now, at that moment, of course, I knew that I couldn't do nothing with it. It's fresh. When you're dealing with fresh credit cards, there's only so much you can do. So my goal was to get another credit card. Then I got another credit card, but this time it was a secured credit card, right? So both got good payment history on there. Then I started looking towards the business credit cards because the business side was giving more money. I could show that the business make this amount of money, and since the business make this amount of money, the bank's not stingy, y'all. Like, you get what I'm saying? The bank's not stingy by a long shot. People think the banks be stingy. The banks is not stingy. If your credit there, the banks will give you what you want. They will give you what you want. They give you whatever credit cards you want, whatever vehicle you want. And most of the time, let me tell y'all something. The banks are hoping that you fall into deep debt so you can pay them back interest, right? The bank is hoping to give you something that you probably cannot afford. Same way with repossessions, right? Why y'all think repossessions is at an all-time high? So you got people who are financing $100,000 vehicles and they don't even make $100,000 a year. And when they get those $100,000 vehicles and they can't pay it back, imagine, they already paid 2-3 years or a year on the vehicle. Now, you can't pay your car note or whatever the case might be. You might miss one payment. Okay, the bank's telling you, like, look, you got to pay us back. You can't make the second payment. The banks, now they coming. Then third payment, they already repoed the car. And so by the time they repo the car...
Yeah, don't take out loans for cars you can't afford.
Imagine, every policy when after a bank repossess a vehicle, the person whoever
He seems to be very of the opinion that two wrongs make a right. Predatory policies of banking and other loan institutions, not good. That doesn't make it good for you to then steal from banks.
borrowed that money, borrowed that money from the bank to get a vehicle, that person has 15 days to go to the auction and pay the full amount, or they're gonna auction out the vehicle. So let's just say if a bank come and let's just say if the bank repos your car in 15 days, they gotta so they repoed the car, 15 days, they gotta go ahead and they gonna send it to the auction within 15 days. So after 15 days, now you looking like, dang, like what's going on? Like, you get what I'm saying? That now I can't afford the full amount. How much you owe left? You might owe $86,000 left.
The
now,
thing is, other real people are hurt by it. Because if a car is gone, if loans aren't paid back, like, that impacts other people within that system. Rates become higher so the banks can make up for the lost money, because they're not just going to eat that loss. They're going to increase things for other people so that they make that money back. He's not just stealing from the bank, he's stealing from customers of that bank. He's stealing from the social security numbers he's stolen because he's ruining their credit. Like, he is hurting people.
You know you can't pay $86,000. They're going to take it to an auction where the people at the auction is going to pay pennies on the dollar for it. So if the vehicle's left worth $86,000 left on the car.
And look, it would be one thing if it was like him stealing groceries. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about someone stealing groceries or diapers because they're desperate. We're talking about someone who is literally attempting to and succeeding at making themselves disgustingly wealthy off of theft.
The car still worth probably 90-some thousand. They take it to an auction and sell it for half.
I promise you, this is not some, like, praxis comrade thing. This is a he's selfish thing.
For that, and make $40,000. They charge off the full remaining balance. You owe 50-something thousand for the car, or 40-something thousand for the car. Now you got to charge off on your credit. Then your account going to collections because they knew that you couldn't pay it back. Now, this is why I come in at. If you know you're in a position where you can't pay your car note, you better learn my process where I teach people. I got it on YouTube for free, how to hide your vehicles from repossession and how to understand skip tracing. If you're in a situation where you got a $100,000 car and you really can't pay it back, and they got your addresses and everything, you better strip that thing down, take that vehicle to Copart, and hopefully you can make about 40, 50,000. And if they charge off the vehicle, that's okay, because once they send it to collections, you will be able to dispute it from your credit report and take it clean off. That's free game right there. Anybody can do it. That's why I tell people, I say, how much your car worth? He said, 100,000. How many missed payments you got? Man, I got like 8 missed payments. You got 8 missed payments? Your credit is dead as far as that account. You better off just stripping that car down and selling it, or try to get a lien release. And if you get a lien release, you can sell it as is. But as far as stripping the car, it's almost like when you strip it, you selling it for parts. Now, most of the time, if you strip a vehicle, you might
H-Baird with a Black's Law Dictionary request. What do you want me to look up?
Get more money for the parts as a whole versus selling the vehicle entirely, because you might have a door, you might have a brand new seat, you might have a nice engine that people want, you might have a muffler, and it's many different car companies that purchase vehicles without titles. So you can go to a million car companies like, man, how much you would give me for this? This doesn't have a title. Now, as long as it's not stolen, they'll say, okay, you got a $100,000 car, we'll give you $40,000 for it. You don't got a title, okay? They know it's a lien hold on it. But guess what?
Conversion, an unauthorized assumption and exercise of the right of ownership over goods or personal chattels belonging to another, to the alteration of their condition or the exclusion of the owner's rights. Any unauthorized act which deprives an owner of his property permanently or for an indefinite time. Unauthorized and wrongful exercise of dominion in control over another's personal property to exclusion or inconsistent with rights of the owner. So within, like, a car loan, you're getting a loan and you're allowed to use the car even though the bank technically owns it, so you have the right to use it, but if you stop paying it and they're like, we want the car back because it's ours, you converted that property into yours. You're stealing it.
The only thing they're going to do, they can apply for a brand new title, especially if they got a dealer's license. There's many different loopholes, especially if you are a dealer. You get what I'm saying, family? There's many different loopholes with this. Many different loopholes with this game, family. But people got to know that. Because I'm saying, look, this is how it works. If they repoed your car, you owe the banks. If you strip the car and get money from the car, you still owe the banks. So regardless of however you want to spend this, you still owe the banks. The car can burn into flames, you owe the banks. You got to pay the banks back, you owe the banks. The bank repoed the car and sold it for half of what you owe. You still owe the banks. So you got to think to yourself, damn, this is a game. Like, what? That's it.
You
That's
took the
all, family.
loan for the car.
Just look at it like that.
What the fuck?
Just look at it like that.
They didn't show up one day to your house and say, "Here, this car is yours. We demand you take it." You went and you shopped for $100,000 car, like a person who makes bad decisions, and then went and signed a contract to agree to take out a loan for this car. This isn't even a situation where it's like, oh, people taking out like college loans because society is set up that you need to go to college to get a job. This isn't that. No one needs $100,000 car. You are completely in the wrong here.
Look at all debt is like that. And that's how I know how to play with debt, and I also know how to build it. Whichever way. I can do it both routes, both ways, both. And that's you, because people come to hard economic times. Don't think that people could come to hard economic times and they got a choice to make. It's some people, right? It was some people I seen on TikTok. It was a white guy. He was like, man, I don't know what I should do. I don't know what can I, do with my vehicle or whatever the case might be. He basically said, I'm thinking about doing a voluntary repossession. A voluntary repossession is just as worse as a repossession. You was better off selling the car, stripping for parts, and
You're not, because that's not your car to do that.
Taking off your credit. You were better off doing that than doing a voluntary repossession. He said,
does he genuinely not understand that this shit is crime?
And I just can't afford the car. The car is $100,000. You might make $50,000 off, $60,000 from the car.
Okay, but it's not your money, so you can't do that.
And you can take it off your credit because all they're gonna do is sell the debt and send it to collections, and the collection company's gonna want pennies on the dollar. So if you got a $100,000 vehicle and it's been charged off, right? They just said they couldn't find it. They'll sell it to the debt collection company for probably $30,000, and probably not even that. They'll sell it to a debt collection company for $10,000. The debt collection company can write that off on their taxes. But meanwhile, even though they sold it to a debt collection company for $10,000, that does not mean that they personally did not already written off the vehicle, because banks still write off. So anytime they take a loss, they still write off. And this the fraud that they be doing, right? You owe $100,000 on a $100,000 vehicle, and you didn't make a payment for it. Now the banks, since they didn't collect it, they send it to collections, right? Now banks usually don't like to do it because they're at least trying to get something for it. But let's just say if they can't get anything for it, okay, you owe $100,000 on the vehicle. Now you see your credit report being updated. Now they say the account been converted onto a charged off account, never paid, right? Now since they say it's charged off and never paid, the amount of debt that you owe that's available is 100%. So since you owe 100%, now the banks is writing off $100,000 worth of debt, right? Now, once they write off $100,000 worth of debt and they declare that your debt is uncollectible, the next step for them to do is now, since the debt is uncollectible, the next step is to go ahead and now we're going to sell the debt. Even though we charged it off, we're going to sell the debt to a debt collector to see if the debt collector is going to collect from him. So if the debt collector buy the debt from the bank, and I don't know why debt collectors buy debt, because they literally just buying it for nothing, right? So the debt collector buy it, and then the debt collector.
Does he not understand that debt collectors if they're a successful debt collector, at least more often than not, do get more than they... That's why they're business... Whatever.
Collector stuck with it, whatever. He trying to get pennies from you.
Who's more asinine, Chilie or Marcel? Oh, Marcel. Marcel's got actual issues. I mean, I guess they both do. Marcel's are more severe.
And you like, okay, You know, he telling you how much you owe and everything. Only thing they gave him was the rights of the title. So they gave the debt collection company the rights of the title, but they already written off the car. And they just expecting you to just pay the full amount. But
They've written off the loan.
Debt collection company probably paid pennies for it. You get what I'm saying? So listen, family, regardless or not, the bank's gonna get paid. You're not doing nothing wrong by never paying debt. And you got these idiots, right? Y'all got these idiots, these anti-sovereign people. They say people going, listen, you will never go to jail for not paying debt. I don't know why the
You will go to jail for stealing a car, for stealing real property.
Who the hell even raised these people to even have a brain? Like do these people even have a brain?
It's not like, and it's not just about it's not about not paying debt. It's about the fraud involved in intentionally, with like knowingly doing this, going out and intentionally using fraudulent information to get loans and then not paying them back intentionally. You are committing fraud. Like, it's one thing to take out loans that you fully intend to pay back, and then you end up in a situation where you can't, and you're fucked, and you end up declaring bankruptcy or something. That sucks, but it happens. That's a completely different situation than intentionally taking out loans with never intending to pay them back. That's fraud. That is a crime. Oh my god.
Purposely wanted to not pay for a vehicle, that's not illegal not to do it. It's not illegal to buy, you can buy a brand new Mercedes-Benz and walk right off in the parking lot, strip that from parts and throw every piece of part in the street and walk off from it. It's not illegal to do that. You see how badly we've been brainwashed? So fam, y'all better know what's going on. And if you ever come into hard economic times, if you have a vehicle that's worth a lot of money, you don't want to pay it back, you better strip it for parts or try to get a lien release for it. And if you get a lien release for it, sell it. If you strip it for parts, take it to Copart, take it to a dealer that purchased vehicles without a title, get some money for it, because if you don't get the money for it, the banks would. And I'm gonna tell y'all something else. After the banks repo it, remember I said, after the banks repo your vehicle, they're gonna declare it as a loss. So when they take it to the auction company give the banks the money, the banks give the repo company 10% or whatever that is, and they write off the rest, and you stuck without a vehicle. You stuck without a vehicle. You stuck without a vehicle. Just because you listen to a guy on YouTube telling you to do a voluntary repossession because you think you will be a better American citizen. You sound like a fool. That's why I say most people don't even know how to even play the game here. Y'all.
It's always interesting when, like, really fucked up, selfish people call people who aren't that fools, when in reality, they're just sociopathic.
No,
You're all fools for caring about all of the labor I'm wasting with my crimes. Like, think about it. From the production of every bit of labor in the production of that vehicle, in the people working on his loan at the banks, at the local bank, the people on the repo teams, all of the labor involved in this is just wasted because there's no reciprocity. There's no paying back of anything. It's literally just he takes and expects other people to absorb the loss for him. It's fucking ridiculous.
Major corporations literally borrowed $200 million from the federal government and told the government we filing for bankruptcy so all the shareholders can run off with all the money that they borrowed from the government, and the government forgave them after a few years later while they was in Cancun, Mexico, kicking their feet up and relaxing, enjoying the beach.
The answer to systems that are broken isn't to enrich yourself with broken systems. It's to try and fix those systems. If all you do is look at a system that's fucked up and go, well, that's fucked up, how can I get in on that? You're part of the fucking problem.
Cancun, Mexico, relaxing, enjoying themselves, while we stress and paying car notes. While we stress and paying car notes. While we stress and paying credit card bills. While we stress and paying all this stuff. We stressing. The bank's not stressing. These major institutions not stressing at all. We the only ones stressing. Oh man, I have to pay my car note. I owe $104,000 and they about to take my vehicle, and they crying and And man, this stuff is a game. Same thing with houses. If you put
He has no feel. How many people has he sent to jail by following his terrible fucking advice?
yourself in a position, you bought a house and you can't afford, you better take them to federal court, and you can legally file that. All you gotta do is file an affidavit of indigency, so you wouldn't have to pay for the filing fee, send it up to federal court, and you suing them in the district court, proving that they didn't loan you anything, and you also proving that they didn't loan you any money, because there is no money. And that's if you want.
There it is! He's doing the Cataspinda thing. He thinks that because fiat currency exists, therefore all mortgages are fake. Oh yeah, moron. That's ridiculous. He's getting so many people in trouble. Holy shit.
I want to take it on the federal level. Not me, like I say, I deal more with the credit aspect. I want to build up relationships. But for those who in those positions, those who really struggling, those who really don't have much, those who really ain't fully established, do what you got to do. Don't listen to no credit guru online telling you to do a voluntary repossession. That sound like slavery. Because if a bank reviews your
It's slavery to give back the thing I stole.
credit report and
Jesus.
it says voluntary repossession, and they read your credit report and they see repossession, they still would not give you a car for either one. On one end, you did something good for the banks. And you made it easier for the banks. The other one, you just didn't pay the note, so the bank decided to take it. Either way, the banks win. Y'all just see how this work every time. They win again. So you get nothing. You don't even get a car. You pay so much money on a brand new G-Wagon, and you paid every month, and you only missed 2 payments because you were struggling, and the banks don't know that your mother probably has open heart surgery, and you had to spend your last money on your mother open heart surgery. Now they take the
Taquan, that's not the situation you're talking about. You literally started this intending to steal from the bank. Why are you trying to frame this as, oh, I just took out a loan for a $100,000 car and then something terrible happened? You literally titled this video, Getting Free Credit but Never Paying It Back. What is wrong with you?
car, and then you crying because you lose the car. The banks take it to the auction, sell it to another company. The company buy that car from an in-house credit that you can't get at the auction because you might be a dealer, and the banks write the whole entire vehicle off, and you don't know what's going on. Yeah, fam. That's why I keep telling people, and I don't listen to these people on YouTube when they say just sending a bill of exchange. If there's a lien on the vehicle, and they call a title company or a recovery company to repossess the vehicle, and that vehicle's still in the same spot, they're gonna take your vehicle. That's why I say learn how to hide your vehicles from repossession. If you can't hide your vehicle from repossession, strip your vehicle down and sell it. I don't care, get something for it, because they coming. And if they take it, listen, this is the thing, it's better late than never. It's better late than never. It's better late than that. You better get something, because the bank is going to get everything. It's going to get everything. And then you're really going to be mad because you're going to say, man, I should have listened to Taquan. I should have listened. And now you out of a car. Now it's a repossession on your credit.
He feels entitled to the car. He isn't. It's so wild. And it's not even like, this isn't a situation where he's like, this is, you just need a car. You just need a cheap car to get to work. Everyone needs a car. No. He doesn't feel entitled just to, like, get to and from places. He feels entitled to a luxury vehicle. He feels entitled to a $100,000 car that no one in the world needs, but he doesn't even just deserve it. He's entitled to it. And if the bank tries to come and take it from him, they're the bad guys. The fuck?
Now the bank sold it. Now you get nothing. If you cross out things with handwritten pen, they still accept the contract. Those are new terms, hands to do research. Yep. You have classes, right? Now I got tutorials on this. So if you want to learn really how to hide your vehicles from repossession, that's free. I put that out there on YouTube already. I put that out there. My second video, how to get a lien release, I have a video on that. Any debt situation. So if you wanna dispute items off your credit report, I got a process called checking credit criteria, where I teach you how to review your credit, what all factors that banks look at while deciding on a credit application, and etc. You get what I'm saying, family? So all of that plays a role.
Okay, that pause is a good enough time to move on from Daquan. Frustrating. Speaking of Cataspinda, since I brought her up earlier, how's she doing?
I want to talk about unity. How we all stem from two people, Adam and Eve. And there's been a lot of stories in the Bible about who Adam and Eve were, but we know that we come.
Harold Elbelman says, slavery, slavery. I want this to face apocalyptic DJT levels of consequences that stick, because even though he hasn't scammed a 10,000th as much as his parasitic bullshit offends both me and my ancestors, my very bones cry out for his pain. His laughter makes my joints ache. I cannot put in Twitch-safe words. Someone stop him.
From them, and therefore that means that we are all related. I look at the world and people that I come in.
Cat, similar to Taquan, thinks she doesn't have to pay her loans back. She has like a really big house and a car, and she got into this sovereign citizen stuff and decided that fiat currency was fake and a fraud, and therefore her loans were a fraud, and therefore she shouldn't have to pay back her mortgage or car payment. It's a whole thing.
Across with as brothers and sisters. Maybe we haven't met in person or, in front of each other, but really there is no reason for us to be afraid of people. And the only reason we are is because they push fear on us all day long.
Tell that to Abel.
Using Hollywood, the mainstream media, and they have taken our focus away from the things that are important, like people, like children, like the animals, like the earth. All of these are important because they are creations of God. And being that God created us to be creators because we are created in his image, that means that we are very, very powerful. But what I've seen in this movement is there's just a lot of people that are fighting people on the same side. And why would we want to do that? Why would we want to put arm's length against people that are out there trying to spread truth and the news?
I'm curious what other sovereign citizen she's talking about that she has beef with.
And,
or has beef with her.
A lot of us were brought up with certain programming. We were born a certain way. We've watched certain things. We've accepted things into our lives that are, quite frankly, the Matrix. If you look at behaviors like, this diva, look, I'm the queen, okay? And I'm the queen of this castle, whatever I say goes.
I didn't like that voice.
No. We are the queens and kings, but only over ourselves. We're not kings and queens against other people. But we should be able to look at somebody else, even if they're of a different color of skin, different nationality. We come from different parts of the world, depending on where you came from or your ancestor came from, in relation to the equator. Would depend on whether, your skin was a lighter brown, if you were really white. People of certain ethnicities, they are very light skinned. And if you look at where they and their ancestors came from in the map, it's very far from the sun. And because
where is she going with this?
Microevolution.
Microevolution. She's a creationist, so she has to... What a complicated worldview.
We learned as human beings to adapt to our surroundings. In Alaska or in the cold parts of the world where the Eskimos are, they learn to live in the cold, to utilize their surroundings to keep them alive and to foster growth, to do business. But I look at them and they look honestly like my brothers and sisters in Hawaii, or my brothers and sisters that are American Indians. And even though I'm not part American Indian, I am part Hawaiian, but when I am with American Indian people, I've had very, very good friends in my life who are American Indian, and they were beautiful, sovereign souls. And what's happened to us, what the government has done to the American Indian people and the reservations. I have firsthand knowledge because I used to work on an Indian reservation.
Benigami says Ayn Rand was mentioned earlier, and the screwed up thing is that she probably wouldn't consider Daquan or Taquan a parasite. He'd likely be thought of as an entrepreneur. It's a display of how BS this way of thinking is. If everyone thought like Rand or Musk or Sovsits, our species would have died out a long time ago. Relatively moral people keep society going, while assholes like Taquan leech off us. Yeah.
And oversee a property back in my property management days. And it's just kind of like the Hawaiian people, a lot of the local people, a lot of them unfortunately have been dumbed down, been thrown into a system where there's poverty.
Experience, I was just saying off air at one of your speeches probably 20 years ago.
Ron Paul has zero.
We did.
Yes.
Men, women, and children. This is
I'm going to a different one of her videos. Red Pirate Mix says, Adam and Eve never existed, of course, but humanity's most recent common ancestor, the genetic ISO point, is about 3,500 years ago. The ISO point for all people of European heritage is only 600 years ago. Adam Rutherford's done some interesting work on this.
Today, I've got Lenka Kaloma. She is the constitutional
Lenko Kaloma.
Jour Sheriff for Orange County. She is an amazing sovereign soul and spirit that I've had the pleasure of meeting myself. And I wanted to bring her on the show. Many of you saw her on the clips at Maricopa County.
Nemesaur, thank you for gifting 20 tier 1 subs. Thank you. How you been doing?
And I was there as well.
I know you've been here a while.
Serving the board of
but you have my
supervisors.
attention.
Basically, we are at this point in history where people are starting to wake up to the truth. And truth is sovereign and truth matters. But we know that truth doesn't really matter in our court systems with our judges, the attorneys under the
Nah, it has to be like 2 separate things to trigger a hype train. It has to be 2 separate things, at least 100 bits. Or 1 sub. It's just the rules of how Twitch has it work.
Maritime and Admiralty law that we've been living under, and we didn't even know it. So I want to bring Lenka on to just share her light, who she is, so you can get an introduction. And
I'm doing.
She's so long-winded.
Great. How are you, Kat?
I'm doing good. Thank you for being on my show. I so appreciate just meeting you, learning what you have learned. You have been doing this for a while. A couple of years ago, when I was more getting into the
Phyllis Filler with 100 bits says gay train. Kicks off the hype train.
Movement and learning. You were already with the California assemblies, and you were speaking on the meeting that I had attended at that time, speaking about, I think it was something that happened to do with a traffic stop. And so that, well, boy, let me tell you, I have learned so much, and I feel like the learning never ends. And I wanted to start this show so I could start teaching people what I know. But I'm learning that there are a lot of people.
Okay, Cat's incredibly boring to me today. I'm pulling out my emergency video. It's time for, you know, D. Murphy? David Murphy? The guy that is a flat earther, and he drinks pee, etc. He's also a sovereign citizen, so here's one of his sovereign citizen videos.
I'm sure I've got a good film. Okay. First of all,
what does she mean when she says the truth is sovereign? She means the truth is like totes for real the truth, yo. The truth is individualistic. The truth is the truth. I know what I said probably didn't help, but that's my interpretation. To her, it is an affirmation that her beliefs are true. It is an aphorism that effectively just means my truth is reality and singular. H-Beard, thanks for 100 bits.
Identification, please. Government issued photo ID, please.
Yeah, that's a warrant card, sir, as you can see.
Leon Bennett, Constable, what's your number, please?
94.
It's tautological, yeah.
So the
94.
On the bottom there. Also a Bedfordshire warrant card as well. There's 2 of them.
Okay.
No problem, don't
Okay,
worry.
sir.
I'm always happy to answer questions.
You,
Before you do that...
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Before we
you
get
do
into
that,
this is for you.
Could you listen to what I'm saying, please?
Yeah.
Okay. Because we stopped you, you're driving a motor vehicle on a road. Okay, stop there. Just let me finish. Could you produce to me your licence, please? Your driving licence, MOT, and certificate of insurance, please.
Before? This is for you.
I've asked you a question.
I know, and before you ask the question, I've asked you. This is for you.
Please?
This is for you.
Could you answer my
I
question?
shall as soon as you have a look at this.
Could you answer my question,
As
please?
soon as you have a look at this.
It's your duty to produce to me your licence.
I'm afraid it's not. After you look at this, you'll see why.
Could you produce me your licence?
You'll see why, sir.
I'd like your licence, please.
Sir, you will see why.
What are you producing to me then?
This is documentation.
Do you have any
You've been
identification?
served.
Do you have any identification on you at all?
I don't have any identification.
Nothing at all.
Not at all. You've been served. You've been served.
This same sovereign citizen during COVID tried to shut down a vaccine center where people were receiving vaccines because he's an anti-vaxxer.
Sorry, is it your vehicle, sir?
Yes, it's not a vehicle, and this is
His car isn't a vehicle, sir.
my property.
Sir, could you just put down the window a little bit because I can't hear what you're saying?
This is my property, sir.
Could you just put that down a little bit?
No, not at all. This is my property. This is my private property.
Yeah, that's fine. I appreciate that.
Okay, so no trespassing
Trespassing?
on private property.
All right.
You've seen notice.
Okay, sir. No problem.
See, this is why I appreciate the UK cops with sovereign citizens. They mostly laugh at them. American cops all have this weird anger. American cops are all angry and insecure all the time. Have you noticed that? At least most of them. Very weird. The older ones in particular. The younger ones seem to be better, but if you get a cop like over 45, there's a good chance that they're just like a ball of just like insecurity and anger, and it like comes off like right on their sleeve. 45 seconds on the hype train.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just going to pop in the car and read this. Give us a second,
Okay,
all right?
He's actually gonna take the time to read it. That's funny. Stone Corbell, thanks for
Paul,
gifting
it's
us a...
Dave. There may be some delay because I've just been stopped by the cops. Yes, they are. So I'll try and fill you in later on, and hopefully I'll be there. But this might get messy because the guy's
Thank you for the hype train, everyone.
belligerent.
Thank you.
Right. All right. Well, hopefully I've got enough to dissuade them.
I've got enough to dissuade them. Part 2. Let's see if he has dissuaded them.
It's a mechanically propelled vehicle, adapted or intended for use on the road. That's the definition of.
So you would also know that the Road Traffic Act covers them as well.
Excuse
so
me.
we can stop you there.
Excuse me. That is the definition of a motor vehicle.
Can I talk to your manager?
Mechanically propelled vehicle, yeah.
Indeed. Okay. The definition of a vehicle, which is in the two words there, isn't defined in the Road Traffic Act.
What mechanically propelled vehicle is, though, isn't it?
Excuse me. Motor vehicle, two words. Okay.
And mechanically propelled vehicle also covered by.
Can
the
you
Traffic
let me finish? I'll let you finish.
Yeah, go
okay. A vehicle is defined as a commercial device
Incorrect.
for transporting passengers or goods. Okay. Legally defined.
Nope.
I have contacted the DVLA, the Secretary of State for Transport, the Attorney General, the Chief Police Officer.
Dave hasn't done the Sovsit stuff in a long time. I wonder if he just decided he liked the Flat Earth stuff better, or if it was more successful for him. Depraved Ambiance, what would you like me to look up?
Of the Association
vehicle,
of
duh.
Chief Police Officers.
Only for the Metropolitan, though, wasn't it?
No.
Isn't it?
Oh, that's from Metropolitan. I've also since contacted the Chief Police Officer, Sir Hugh Ord, of the Association of Chief Police Officers. So, essentially, that information
They do not just have vehicle.
I've received agreements from all of them.
They have vehicular crimes. Is that something that would interest you, maybe? Let's give that a shot. Vehicular crimes. Criminal acts committed while operating a motor vehicle, e.g. vehicular manslaughter, vehicular assault. See also vehicular homicide. Vehicular homicide. Homicide caused by the unlawful and negligent operation of a motor vehicle. Seems like vehicle's a motor a vehicle is a motor vehicle, by definition, based on those definitions.
Alright, no problem. Obviously, we don't come across this sort of thing every day.
I know,
right?
I do understand.
Yeah, so appreciate from where I'm coming from.
Certainly.
What is it you've actually given me here?
This is notification which has been sent to all the relevant departments.
You've got a list in there,
Yeah. That I am.
Oh well, thank you, Phoenix Leftist. I appreciate it, and I really like those movies you sent. Thank you.
Exercising my right to travel.
Yeah.
Upon the public roads.
Okay.
Okay. This is a right that hasn't been taken away from us. Okay.
Yeah.
We only agree to waive it.
When you say we, what do you mean?
Everybody.
Everybody, right? Okay.
Yeah. We've agreed to waive that right.
Yeah.
By getting a driving license.
Okay.
Yeah. And accepting the title of driver.
Yeah.
Which is a commercial activity.
Yeah.
I'm not acting in commerce unless you've got proof.
No, I'm not saying you are. I'm honestly not saying you are.
Unless you, and I've got nothing against you.
I know you haven't. I know you haven't.
As a police officer, doing your job.
I can see you've obviously got something that you've put across here. Obviously,
Yes.
I don't know what that is. That's why I'm just
I do
trying to
understand.
find out.
I do understand. I'm not trying to be difficult.
I know you're not.
And the thing is that...
Don't say that, Ram. I don't like that kind of joke. I'm not a fan of jokes that are like, I hope this No, don't do that.
Until
we can look at sovereign citizens and recognize they suck and that they're wrong and that it's funny that they believe this without wishing harm on them. Please don't.
Have you really stopped before with it?
I have been stopped. I haven't, not since I deregistered the car.
So I'm lucky enough to the first one to
go. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Don't worry.
I've informed everybody of what I intended to do, asking for objections.
Yeah.
Not received a single one.
Yeah.
Not a single one. I've let the DVLA know what my new insignia is.
Yeah.
They've been informed. Okay.
So is that one you just sort of put on it, or?
This is my insignia.
Okay.
This is now a privately owned motor vehicle.
Right.
Well, not a motor vehicle, a conveyance. There's a lack of terminology in the English language for this, but this is a privately owned...
There's a lack of terminology for this in the English language. Might I suggest driving?
Automobile. Okay?
Crack
All
it
these
on.
are publicly owned motor vehicles.
You're good, Ram.
There is a difference.
Yes,
Gotta enforce rules.
I'm not a driver.
It's also against Twitch TOS to wish harm on people, just for the record. So I gotta enforce that.
Traveling.
Okay.
Okay? And in order to travel, I do not need documentation. I've rescinded my driving license.
So where do you get your sort of... Because obviously, we're deeming this as a car.
I know you do, and
Yeah.
and I'm not having a go at you. You, as police officer, you're not taught this, because police constables, which is what you actually are there only to preserve the peace and protect the citizens. But in your role as a police officer, you're little more than tax collectors. I'm not having a go.
Paid, I don't mind.
Yeah, I understand. I understand.
Right,
but
right, well, let's we're going to find out where we stand and go from there. Do you have any ID to prove that's you?
I don't need some. This is me.
Right. Okay.
I don't need ID. This is me. Well, that doesn't help other people. Certainly you would know you're you, at least you'd hope. Right? That's not what ID's for.
And I do have to draw your attention to this notice.
Great.
This notice here.
All right, okay.
What does the notice say? Private property? Something along those lines would be my guess.
Happens. What traffic offences?
The ones I went through, so no insurance.
Which apply to motor vehicles and drivers.
Yeah.
You are in a motor vehicle driving.
Which I have strenuously
Obviously,
explained to you.
we have to go by the law of the land.
Which is not the law of the land.
As a driver.
Which is not the law of the land.
Okay. I appreciate what you're saying. Well, I have to go by the Road Traffic Act at this time. All right. Are you prepared to give me any identification of your driving licence?
I don't. As I told you, I rescinded my driving licence. I no longer have one.
Okay.
I do not have any identification.
You sent your driving licence back?
I sent it back with a notice to rescission.
So you sent it back. I sent it back.
Rescind it.
Okay.
It terminates the contract that goes along with it.
Okay. Obviously, due to the offences, I require your name and address. Are you prepared to give that to me?
I do not have a name.
You don't have a name?
I do not have a name.
Okay. How long have you owned the car for?
I purchased this automobile 2 years ago.
Okay. Was it originally, when it was under the...
he doesn't have a name. A Faye stole it.
Because obviously the owner, the previous owner, you would have had to fill in the logbook.
Indeed. I filled that in with the words "without prejudice," which does not bind me.
Good.
I filled that document in with the words "without prejudice," which doesn't bind me to that document because it has unrevealed clauses in it.
Okay then. So, but you did put it in your, as in you put your name on there, but you didn't. You put in there without prejudice.
Indeed.
Okay. All right. Give us a second. So, what name did you put on the logbook?
Well, since you've been able to determine the original registration of this one,
there's nothing secret about it. All it will be is we can look at the chassis number and we can determine the original registration. And obviously that will give us a name. So there's nothing secret to that. I'm not trying to keep anything from you, but I'm saying it has come back with a name on the original plate. So I just wanted to check that that's the one you put on the logbook. That's all.
I'm glad to see that obviously my documentation went through since you were able to, from my insignia, match it to, so the DVLA have recorded it. Okay. Yeah. My name's Dave. It's not my name. It's been assigned to me. But you can call me Dave.
Do you have a name on your birth certificate?
That was a long way around to say your name is Dave. Jesus.
That's not my birth.
It's
not my birth certificate.
Your mum and dad must have named you at some point.
Yeah, it's not my birth certificate though.
All right. Okay. What did your mum and dad name you then?
Belongs to the Crown, and it's not to be used for identification.
All right. So what did your mother and father call you?
Dave.
And what surname did they give you?
I don't have a surname.
You don't? Right. Okay. A date of birth.
I don't know it. I wasn't conscious at the time. Anything else?
I wasn't conscious at the time.
What's his hearsay?
So you don't know your date of birth?
No idea.
All right,
what do they tell you it is, Dave? If you had to, out of 365 days in a year, decide a date that you're most likely to eat cake, what day would that be?
Okay.
Evidence Act. I don't have to do that.
Under Section 24
of the Police and Criminal Evidence Act.
Okay. Of PACE. So unfortunate. I don't have my copy of PACE with me this time because under PACE you're required to have the basis of a criminal investigation.
Yeah,
in order to stop me. Which is
good.
A criminal investigation.
The offence is the road traffic offence.
Is that a criminal investigation?
Well, no, because it's anything's arrestable, isn't it?
Criminal investigation.
No, and for obviously the report for the issue of a summons, which I can't do because you won't provide any detail.
I'm afraid, criminal investigation. That's your basis. And before we carry on, I've just got to tell you that my fee schedule is active since this guy has.
So I didn't know.
A fee schedule is when sovereign citizens think they can charge the cops for their time. Like, oh, you pulled me over? You're taking 20 minutes for this traffic stop? I'm charging you 20,000 gold doubloons.
My fee schedule, which is detailed in the papers you were served with, is now active since I've been...
That's true, Harold Elberman. It's true.
Impeded. Okay. You basically need details of criminal investigation. So what is the nature of your criminal investigation?
It's in relation to the traffic offences.
Which is not a criminal
No,
investigation.
but it's obviously for reporting an issue of a
It's
summons,
civil,
which I
isn't
can't
it?
do, can I? Because you're not providing with a name or address.
I've given you details, which are
okay,
in.
David, go around in circles.
I have given you details.
Yeah, that's
I've
fine.
given you,
You've given me a piece of paper. I don't know who you are. I don't know your address.
I do not have any identification.
Okay.
I never carry identification.
And just to clarify, you don't have an MOT, you don't have a licence, and you don't have insurance. Is that correct?
I have. I cannot provide you with those documents.
And why is that, please?
I have already explained to you.
I'm just clarifying. Why can't you provide me with insurance?
I've rescinded my driving licence.
Yeah, I know the driving licence.
I have deregistered this automobile. I'm travelling, exercising my right to travel upon the road in any manner I see fit.
Okay. All right, Dave, I'm not trying to be awkward with you. Please
I
understand.
know, I understand.
I'm only trying to do my job.
I'm not trying to be awkward with you is such a British thing to say.
If it goes to court, it'll be sorted out and the whole world will know about it. So can I ask you to step out of the vehicle so we can take you and put you before the court and they can make that decision. If you do not step out of the vehicle, we will have to enter the vehicle by force if required, and it will mean damaging your property. I don't want to damage the car, it's a lovely car.
I have no idea
so
depraved
can you get out of the
ambiance.
vehicle now, sir, so you can be taken and put before the court?
I'm happy to get out of the vehicle.
Okay then, sir.
But I don't work for free. It's going to cost you.
So you'll have to say it again.
I don't work for free.
Okay, there is recourse if you've been arrested falsely for you to actually claim against the police.
Well,
anyway.
I have to let you know that I'll charge £20,000 to get out of this vehicle.
£500,000 on your piece.
Yeah, I know it does, but
okay, sir,
I'm charging you
because I don't pay the bills.
I'm charging you. Just let you know, I'm charging.
It always seems like the UK cops retort with humor instead of pepper spray or guns.
You
it's interesting.
£20,000 to step out of this vehicle.
Okay, then, sir.
Accept that
Step out
charge.
of the vehicle, sir.
One second, though. Let me.
Right. Let me stand up because
yeah,
my knees
sorry.
are going at my age. Oh. The police constable, sir.
You don't want to, all right?
8, and the date, time.
Oh, good. He did get arrested. Anyway, so he's still around, of course, doing his thing. Mostly on flat Earth stuff and weird esoteric fourth dimension bullshit. I think he also said he wanted to run for office or something at some point.
I arrived. So when I arrived about 10 minutes later...
That's the outfit he wore when he was trying to arrest vaccine nurses who were, like, giving people vaccines, and he's an anti-vaxxer. Last night, the wee-wee saved my life, he says. He drinks pee.
Hello, this is Dave. So I'm going to do a little bit of a testimony, and maybe an appeal as well.
Anyway, don't drink pee. Not worth it. Alright, so I think that's all we're doing for today. Thanks, everyone. Glad we got to catch up with Chilie and watch him get in more trouble. That was pretty I'm both surprised and unsurprised at the same time, so that's great. If there's more updates on Chilie, of course, I'll let you know. He'll probably have his phone privileges taken away for some unknown period of time. Who knows? But we'll be back tomorrow for something else. I'm not sure what. Let's see, we did tinfoil. Today was Sovsits. We'll either do Chuds or VHS tomorrow. Just depends on how we're feeling. Yeah, we can raid Thanks Internet. Sure. Give me a second. Perfect. I'm playing Stardew. Lovely. I like Stardew. Alright, have a great night, everyone. If you are on YouTube, do me a favor and like the stream. Smash that like button, as they say, before we head out. Everyone else, I'll see you soon. Enjoy the raid. Give Thanks Internet a follow. And have a great night. See you soon.